All right, back on the Young Turks election night coverage. Are you kidding me? We're halfway through. I feel like we just started. Polls have closed. Polls are closed. Panic time. Okay. All right, first I got to tell you how you can watch, and then I'm going to tell you about the polls that have closed. And then we have a shooting, okay, at a polling station. So lots of dramatic news.
Near a polling
Near a polling station. Okay, members, you can check out the simultaneous coverage happening just for you guys. We've got this stream, and then we've got a second stream. And of course, to join is tytnetwork.com/join. But then once you're there, tytnetwork.com/members-live, okay? That's how you watch the second stream. You could double stream here, just don't cross them. You can check out the schedule for this, and I believe for the members-only stream as well at tytnetwork.com/members-schedule. Yes, that's got the annoying two S's in the middle, members schedule, okay? And it includes member interaction with Dave Kohler, Gigi Manoukian, quizzes with party guests about the primary. We just had Brian Ungertaker, Ida Rodriguez there. They did a great segment. There's a poster giveaway about Dapple. And if you're not a member, remember tytnetwork.com/join. Okay, here are your poll closings. I'll show you the poster you could win in a second, which is great. Georgia just closed. Sorry, Georgia's done. It's done. Oh my God, who's going to win Georgia? Trump. Indiana. It's closed. It's closed. It's done. It's done. I'm sorry, it's done. They're kicking you out. They're kicking you out of the polling stations. Indiana's closed. Who's going to win it? Trump. But these are not called yet, by the way. I'll tell you when it's officially called. But we do have a Senate race there where Evan Bayh bungled it away, and he will likely lose, but it's not 100% set. Kentucky closed. They're kicking you out. They're kicking you out. Please clap. And
please clap.
Trump. Oh my God, Trump's got such a huge lead. He's going to win the first 3 states. Oh my God. South Carolina closed. First 4 states go to Trump. Jesus, Lord mercy. They're not called yet. They're not called yet. Just calm down. Okay, I'm telling you to calm down as I'm screaming. Here we go. The great state of Vermont is just closed. We're gonna bring Vermont home. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring it home. And Virginia. Okay. Now, all kidding aside, the one state that is super relevant and we will keep you updated on throughout this hour is Virginia. So the rest are solidly red, or in the case of Vermont, solidly blue. Virginia is one of the critical swing states. I don't have it in my top 6 because I thought Hillary Clinton's lead was sizable enough in Virginia that she was going to win it. But she must. If she loses Virginia, oh boy.
You'll notice Virginia.
Go to the board. Go to the board.
You'll notice Virginia's placement on this map. First of all, can we widen out this shot slightly? Or I'll hold it up, but that's a little awkward. Virginia, you'll notice they're in the black in the middle. We're officially calling it a swing state, but we're being generous with our swing state terms because we want dramatic moments.
Okay, we're being honest about it. We're being honest.
But obviously, a Trump win in Virginia, devastating.
Catastrophic.
Catastrophic. As would a Trump win in Pennsylvania. We'll check to see if any of those states have been called. We'll have that information for you as soon as we can.
Yes. So the minute we have information from any of the news sources, we will scream. Okay. So it'll be subtle. The way we'll tell you is, oh my God, results are in Virginia. Okay. So that's now in 7:30. We've got poll closing times in North Carolina, Ohio, and West Virginia. North Carolina, Ohio, also swing states. Trump likely to win Ohio, but it's certainly not certain. Certainly not certain is a great term. And then North Carolina is actually in more dispute than Ohio is. So if Hillary Clinton wins North Carolina, it's over. It's over. Pack up. Keep watching for the next 6 hours. But, okay.
We have 3 states called.
They're called. We have calls. Go.
The state of Indiana.
Called.
11 electoral votes. Donald Trump.
He's winning 11-0. We're done for.
Trump from the outside scores. From the Commonwealth of Kentucky, he's got a 19-0 lead.
Well, you said Commonwealth, and you said from the outside for a second. I panicked that it was Virginia.
Or Pennsylvania.
I know, but Pennsylvania hasn't closed it.
So 19-0. But the comeback has already begun.
Oh, my God.
A 3-pointer from Burlington, Vermont, buried for Hillary Clinton. She's on the board. It's 19-3.
The home of Bernie Sanders. Does Bernie deliver? Always. Always. But right now, guys, it is panic time. We're losing 19-3. 19-3. Trump takes the early lead. But is that Clinton from behind? Here comes Hillary Clinton. I will say for the rest of the night until she takes the lead momentarily. She won't at the 7 o'clock hour. In the 7 o'clock hour, you can add Virginia to that list, we hope, but he will have the lead going into 7:30. He'll maintain the lead through 7:30. 8 o'clock is when we start yelling, "Here comes Hillary," although the first state on the board there is Alabama.
I have an unusual request that I don't think ever made on the air. I think I left my blue magic marker outside on the main bar. If somebody could grab my blue magic marker, that would be great.
Yes. Okay. we will effort that immediately. Okay.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, but the red-blue map originally made its appearance in 1976 on ABC, and it was actually switched. They had the blue was for the Republicans,
is that right?
And red was for the Democrats, and they based it off the Tories and the Labour Party in England. This is, I'm pretty sure all this is true.
So Jimmy laying down a lot of history lately. You know, after the post game yesterday, which a lot of people, a lot of the members really loved, which was great. So that was me, Ben, and Jimmy arguing a little bit. But I went back and checked out your Malcolm X clip on the Jimmy Dore show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was great. It was great about the fox and the wolf that you talked about in the second hour of today as well. So yeah, no, Malcolm X, kind of a bright guy. But you know, there was an irony built into that, and then we'll get to the shooting. Is that he talked about how Lyndon Johnson is the fox, and they present you Barry Goldwater, who's the wolf, to scare you into voting for the fox, right? But you know, him and Martin Luther King, they also played that game. Okay, now it was for the right reasons, and it was not a fox as in a bad thing, right? But Malcolm X was the wolf, so you went, oh, Martin Luther King, I'll take Martin Luther King.
Oh,
okay.
I see what you're saying.
Do you see what I'm saying? And
yes.
so Malcolm X was...
You take the nice or non-violent black guy or the violent, scary black guy?
Yeah, so Malcolm X was even smarter than people realize because he was completely familiar with that concept, and he was actually playing three-dimensional chess.
Was he really doing that? Like, we know he was playing that game?
Look, that's my reading of it. I've read his autobiography. I've read a lot about Malcolm X. I'm not a scholar on it, obviously. It's not, I'm not like John Iadarola, who almost got a PhD. I mean, I'm still working on it, Jimmy.
He's working on it.
Yeah, and so...
You guys are the worst. I love the attacks on people in the company who aren't on the panel to defend themselves.
Sorry, Johnny Ty. Okay. Anyways, we were too nice to him earlier. We got to make up for it. But yeah, so that's an interesting strategy and one Malcolm X deployed as he was talking about it. So fascinating stuff. Okay, all right, the shooting.
All right, so we have a lot of election-related news, but something pretty terrible happened near a polling place in Azusa, California. There are early reports of an active shooter in Azusa, California. Now, as we report on this story, unfortunately, there are very few details as to whether or not police have this person in custody, but they did describe him as a bald, heavy white male who was heavily armed. Multiple people were shot and injured. We know that one person is dead, but it's uncertain as to whether or not the person who was killed was the shooter or if it was a victim. Now, this happened near a polling station. There were two polling places in the area, actually, the Memorial Park North Recreation Center and Dalton Elementary School. Both of those places were impacted by the shooting. People were forced to stay indoors and they were locked down. Also, Slauson Middle School, which was near the location of the police activity, was also placed on lockdown. We have this, image, actually we have a video of these kids. They're in school, they're sitting on the ground. I mean, it's a scary situation. Let's take a quick look at that. So there they are, they're in lockdown, and apparently the teachers and administrators didn't want to tell them what was going on, but they're afraid, they're afraid that something's going to happen to the kids. Apparently, at the polling station, people were told, well, you're not allowed to leave, you're on lockdown because there's an active shooter, but if you want to continue voting, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I would have kept voting because maybe that could solve it. So here's the situation. I don't know that it has anything to do with the election because remember, there is a mass shooting on average more than once a day in America. That's where 4 people get shot. Depending on your definition, you can either get shot or get killed. And so last year it was more than 1 per day. So on election day, on average, you would have one. And there's a lot of polling stations across the country, so you might have one near a polling station.
Yeah.
And in this case, I don't even know that it's even technically qualifies as a mass shooter It's just an active shooter.
It's an active
Right.
shooter. Again, we don't know much about this story because police aren't speaking yet. We don't know if this guy's in custody. We know that the area that the shooting took place is completely shut down. People can't get in, they can't get out, and it's scary. It's also really interesting because right now California voters are voting on a proposition that would lead to background checks. If it's passed, it would lead to background checks for those who try to get high-capacity magazines. And so, again, I don't know if this guy had a political agenda. I don't know if he was trying to make a point. He's obviously crazy. But the important thing is that, they get this guy in custody and he doesn't cause any more damage or harm.
Well, look, I'm going to keep it real here. You know that he's described as white. So they'll say, I will never know why he did it.
He's a lone wolf, Cenk.
He's a lone wolf.
This guy, you can't figure it out.
Right.
He's disgruntled, I bet you.
Right.
Nothing to do with religion.
Yeah. If we had a Muslim shooting somewhere in the middle of the election, ISIS is trying to disrupt elections, right? Now, if we have a right-winger, and we don't know that at all, and like I told you, we don't know if he's even got anything to do with elections. It might just be a random shooter. But if it turns out it's in that direction, that's no big deal. That's not a story, right? He's not trying to disrupt the elections. He's just an American, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot of local news reports about this. There isn't very much national coverage, and I'm guessing it's because of the election. And it's scary to know that someone can go out there and, be heavily armed, open fire, possibly kill people, and it gets no national coverage. So we'll see.
And even so, look, since it's election day, I actually think it's more likely to get coverage, right? But they'll drop it like a rock if it's a right winger. Like they usually cover it for a day, and they're like, oh, look at this. In Kansas, a right winger executes 2 cops. And then we're done with it, right? But if it's a black guy and it's in Dallas or Louisiana, weeks and months of coverage, right? Because there's an agenda to be driven. When it's a right winger, there's no agenda. We move forward, right?
Yeah. Can I also make a point about gun control? So we talk about gun control. We vary in terms of how much gun control we want. I would argue that I'm in favor of, not banning guns. I just want simple things like background checks, whatever. But here's the thing. California has some of the more restrictive laws in place when it comes to gun control, but it's not enough. You can't leave it to the states because we are one country, and it's the easiest thing in the world to go to a different state, get your hands on as many guns as you want, bring them into your state. You see what I'm saying? So California passing this proposition of background checks for high-capacity magazines is nice, but I don't think it's going to do anything. We need something on a federal level.
I agree with that, but it's a good first step. I view this ballot initiative in California as pretty much the Chris Rock strategy, right? If we can't get more stringent checks on guns, well, let's put them on bullets. And so, Chris Rock has that joke about make the bullets worth $1,000 and we'll have gun control. And so that's kind of what. So I was like, hey, I love it. I want gun control.
Yeah.
So if that's the way we get around checking to make sure we don't have mentally ill people and terrorists and et cetera, all these, or people who've been proven to be violent and have a history of violence, et cetera, checking on them to make sure they're not buying tons and tons of ammunition, great. Doesn't mean you can't buy ammunition, okay? It just means, hey, let's do a sanity check before you buy it.
Right.
It's literally the least we can do.
What if I'm insane and I like to shoot for sport?
Well,
then you're taking away my constitutional right just because I'm insane.
Look,
that happens sometimes.
That's tyranny.
Yeah.
Or sanity, right?
I don't know.
I
I know people who do. Look, Jordan, who is a viewer of the show, part of my family now, like someone that I really care about. He lives in Arkansas and he loves to go hunting. And he not only hunts for sport, he literally hunts for food. Right? And like saves deer meat for I don't know how long in his freezer. And it's delicious, by the way. But nonetheless, like I don't want him to have his guns taken away, but I do want common sense gun legislation that doesn't lead to a country where everyone is swimming in guns, where there's more guns per capita than any other country in the world.
I want to take away assault rifles and handguns. I do.
Yeah.
I would like to take away assault rifles and handguns, but leave guys who want to hunt with a shotgun or whatever, fine.
Rifle? If you want a rifle,
go ahead, have a rifle.
Have 5. Don't care.
Yeah.
I'd go further. So Look, I had a friend in college that educated me about this because I didn't know about it, right? Because I grew up in a suburb. We shopped for bagels. Okay, that's what we did.
I grew up in the city. We steal bagels.
So there was no, the hunt was on for good cream cheese and lox. But a friend of mine was from Texas, and so
Just took too long.
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it didn't work quite. Anyway, he was from Texas, and they were poor, and he would hunt for rabbit, and then they would eat it because that's what they needed, right? I get that. Look, we're killing each other at a record rate, and we do it with weapons, and it becomes much more efficient to kill your family, your loved ones, etc. So I would have, you could own a gun, and it's in a locker somewhere where it's super safe, and then when you want to go hunt, you drive to that locker for 5 minutes because there's no emergency, right? And you go and you get your gun and you go and get your rabbits, etc., deer, yada yada, and then you bring it back and put it in that safe locker. So that way your kids don't die unnecessarily. Now, I'm never going to win this. I know that. Like in this country, it's too late. There's 250 million guns out there. We're never going to get them all back, right? So, but that's my position.
Yeah. I mean, right. We would lose apparently an election because we when they say about Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, they're coming to take your guns. They're just lying.
They are.
They're not only stirring up the paranoia of those who will vote based on that issue, but they're also driving up gun sales. You know, it's because the sense of, buy your guns now because they're coming to get them. I would come to get them.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
And funny enough, though,
Not all of them. Again, the rifles and the long guns and the shotguns.
I'd get the rifles too. But I'll tell you what, though, under that scenario, I might own a weapon. Like, it might be cool to have a rifle as long as it's not in the house that I can go get, and then we go and maybe we shoot it for fun, right?
But
Depending
imagine
on the
this,
right
Jake.
circumstances.
It's 2 a.m, you're sleeping in bed, okay? You're with your wife, and then all of a sudden you hear someone breaking into the house. What are you going to do to protect yourself? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Well, that actually happened.
I wake up and
That actually did happen.
That's right.
I wake
Oh,
up.
yeah, it did happen. I forget about that.
What are you going to do, Cenk?
We did not murder the guy, and he's okay, and we're okay.
So let me give you a
That
couple.
is
Let me
fucked
give.
up. You're a cuck.
Let me. Let me give you a couple updates because I'm following the results here and I'm so paranoid, right? I mean, I'm really, because there was a result of Florida, and the way the New York Times does it is they'll tint the thing, the color that it's going, even if it's like 9-4 Trump, they'll tint it red, right? I mean, and Florida was, but it was 130,000 to like 57,000. And I was like, oh my God, we're gonna lose because she's gonna get destroyed. Even though it's like, anyway. So, but it's now 440,000 to 430,000 Clinton.
In Florida?
In Florida.
Now, remember, that's a little, okay, I am a tiny bit worried about that. I'll tell you why. Because they're supposed to have the early voting immediately as soon as the polls close. And so she's supposed to have a big lead in the early voting in Florida.
Well, we don't know. We're supposed to have, there's no reason to think that, she's supposed to have a lead. She might continue to have, we don't know where that early vote has come from. We don't know.
And remember, Florida, most of Florida closes at 7. The Panhandle closes at 8. So that's
in
what.
The Panhandle, it will be Trump territory. No question.
That's right.
Because
So
that's the South.
So she, in the early voting, because of all the Latino registration, record-breaking Latino registration in Florida, even with the Cubans that are more Republican historically, was thought to greatly favor Hillary Clinton. And it doesn't have the Panhandle. Well, the early voting had the Panhandle, but the rest of the state is closed without the Panhandle. So Hillary Clinton should have a lead, but it's minutes.
It's minutes, and she's just surged massively to take a lead. And as we remember from every other election, we know what counties get counted last, and those are the Broward and Miami-Dade, which are the 2 biggest counties likely in the state for Hillary Clinton. So
right, those are the far more Democratic counties, even with all the Cubans in Miami-Dade.
We have some minimal results from Virginia, still some very minimal results from New Hampshire. None of them are worth mentioning yet. Also, very minimal results from Georgia. Totally insignificant numbers at this point. Nothing else has come in.
So the bottom line there is that it's trickling in. Okay?
It's trickling in, and in fact, Trump is now taking the lead in Florida.
He's taking the lead.
Wait, where?
In Florida.
Okay.
Come on, stop doing this every 2 seconds. We're
Yeah,
gonna
I
start
agree.
killing ourselves.
I agree.
By the way, so who's this tweet from? Here we go. I'll play a little game. Who's this tweet from? Tweet sent today.
I like how Ben moved the computer so I don't pull a Trump.
I know.
I wasn't going to sneak a peek.
No, but it's too. No, it was not pulling a Trump. It's too obvious. Like you can't. The table's curved. You couldn't not see it.
Okay.
And you're also dishonest. Spending your day manually refreshing Drudge Report is very 1990s, and what all Hollywood agents, Wall Streeters, Hill staff will do today.
Hollywood agents.
Hollywood agents, Wall Streeters, Hill staff will do today. Who
I'm
sent
going to guess
it?
David Sirota.
No, you're in the wrong direction. Of course, it's someone who's actually going to be doing it today. Mark Halperin.
What a bizarre thing. That's what he does. Yeah,
That's
why
what he does. Still.
But it seems like he's mocking the thing that he's
doing.
No, I think he's saying.
Oh, he's not mocking it. He's
not
like,
mocking
yeah,
it.
let's look at drugs
He's
all
like,
day.
people will be doing 90s,
Oh
but
my God.
he's still checking the drugs. It's still his definition.
God. That's unbelievable.
Isn't that? I knew you'd think that.
I thought it was Sirota criticizing the schmucks who were still checking Drudge after Drudge was proven to be not only an extreme right winger, but also like borderline lunatic with his conspiratorial theories about how the Obama administration is controlling the weather. Right?
And so, I'm checking Drudge tonight as we go through because I think it'll be interesting to see what the conspiratorial, crazy line of thinking is.
Right.
But there's already huge stories in there about how Snowden reveals $30 fraud hack. Woman charged with
now
felony
they're in
after
favor of
casting
Snowden.
vote for dead twice. Like, so he's got a voter fraud story in there. Like, and Mark Halperin was reading this, and this is his primary source for what America's talking about. Because what he said in whichever book it was, I don't remember which book, maybe Game Change.
I think so.
He said that every morning, the first thing they do, and maybe all day, the first thing they do was, and what did the networks all do? He said was we all just check Drudge to see what's happening, what's happening. So their whole day, their whole framework for covering. No wonder you want to know why John Kerry got swift voted. Because of Mark Halperin. Because Mark Halperin, he didn't do it. He just allowed it to happen. And then we saw Halperin's interview, of course, with Donald Trump, which I think revealed to a lot of people, exactly what where Mark Halperin stood.
So, but if you're new to politics and you don't know who the fuck Mark Halperin is, okay, he is the prototypical mainstream media reporter. He's the guy who says, "Well, I'm just neutral, man. I just report it as it is." He said, she said, both sides do it, right? That's what Jimmy makes fun of all the time. And he's worked for a lot of these mainstream media organizations. He's on Morning Joe. They all love him because, hey, they both do it. They both do it. You need a neutral guy that doesn't have an opinion or any connection to sanity, you get Mark Halperin. And so that is the kind of crap that is rewarded in mainstream media. Like, they look at Mark Halperin's fawning interview with Trump, which was just embarrassing, right?
You want to know how many millennials watch anything Mark Halperin does?
Zero.
Maybe like 3.
He's like Kanye to them. What are you talking about?
But that's the thing. Like, it's ridiculous that he does that, but he's destroying his own career, or at least the future of his career, right?
But
he's irrelevant to my age group, totally irrelevant to my age group.
I understand, but he is not irrelevant to many other age groups who vote right now. But I got it. Your age group is going to get older, and they're going to move into the older age group, and that's going to matter. But I got a friend of mine, a super smart friend of mine, a liberal guy.
Thanks. Thanks. I've been reading a lot more lately.
And because of Game Change, which he loved, he thinks Mark Halperin is the man because that's it. He doesn't know.
I'll tell you about Mark Halperin. He's a lot. Now, when you see him on TV, I always thought he was going to be like 5'6". I met him in person. He's like 5'11". He's much taller than you would imagine, and that's all I have to say about him.
No, to be fair, some say he's 5'11", some say he's 5'6". I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
That's how Mark Halperin would cover that story.
I'm neutral on how tall he is.
Right.
Don't read the Drudge Report to find out what's going on.
And the Mark Halperins of the world will then turn around and say, okay, even though he has admitted, to him it's not an admission, like, oh, of course, my Drudge Report, insane lunatic right-wing stuff. Great, that's what you do. That's the first thing you do in the morning, right? But if you said to him, hey, why don't you check out The Intercept, or with the same kind of religiosity that you do the Drudge Report, or or
International Business Times.
Right, David Sirota's. He'd be like, oh, David Sirota. Oh, no, that's a radical.
Yeah, actual investigative reporting, those people are radical. Right. I mean, The Intercept has done so much incredible investigative reporting when it comes specifically to foreign policy that you don't see anywhere else, right? But they're considered crazy because they actually share their opinion in a very honest way. They don't try to pretend to be neutral or any of that BS.
Yeah, and look, they explain how the world works. So in order to do that, it's not an opinion as much as it's perspective. So, hey, Chris Christie, now I'm going to talk about Sorota's specialty, but it applies to the Intercept as well. Here's what he's doing with your pension fund in New Jersey. And he's doing it because these are the guys who donated to his campaign. Mark, we see that, and that is a fact. They did donate to his campaign. He did funnel the pension money to his donors, right? The Mark Halperns of the world see that and go, biased. You see that? He doesn't like Chris Christie. I'm going to ignore him. What? No, but he just shared a perspective that is so important and is based completely on fact, right? Whereas Drudge is a right. No one disputes that he's a right winger.
Drudge doesn't dispute it.
The Drudge doesn't dispute it, right? And the weather theory that I was referring to is he literally thinks that the Obama administration was fixing the hurricane reports to make it seem like the hurricane was going to be worse because. And all the scientists are like, you can't fix those reports. That's just not remotely true. But that is, apparently, in the Mark Halper world, that is not biased. But reporting facts that show you the corruption of the system is biased. That's why, and all of this, and if you're thinking, for God's sake, why are you guys spending so much time on an irrelevant guy like Mark Halpern, who a couple of years from now, if Anna's right, is going to go into the dustbin of history? Because right now, as Ben pointed out, it is not irrelevant. Right now, he is symbolic of the mainstream media that tells you the system is not corrupt, the system is wonderful, right? And corruption, you haven't proven anything. No, there's no proof. Where's the proof? I don't see the proof, right? But we'll take right-wing drivel and publish it to the whole world. You see, it isn't about Halpern because it's a country of 300 million people. There's plenty of people who think like Mark Halpern. There's thousands upon thousands of reporters who don't. But he's the one that makes it on air all the time. He makes it on to Morning Joe, which everybody in Washington watches. He makes it on to Meet the Press nonstop. He worked at Time Magazine. Even HBO. HBO is such a great organization, but they'll run his movie and his depiction of the campaigns. And all you see that, and you might not see it if you're a millennial, but the people that watch TV, the older generations, all they see is Mark Halpern type of perspective.
Yes.
And it is so skewed in favor of the establishment and right-wing positions. That's why we spend time talking about it, to debunk it. And so that tweet that Ben read in the beginning is just emblematic of his way of thinking. To this late day, the mainstream corporate media thinks, okay, great, where can I get my right-wing news? And anyone who challenges the establishment is a radical that we'll never, ever put on air.
What if he is a right-winger?
No, by the way, people always think like, oh, Halpern, he said, she said, like we were talking about. But in reality, he's probably a Democrat, but he's trying too hard to please. No, my theory is Mark Halpern has been, I'm the first guy to say that. And I remember when I said, people were like, no. What's the no part?
Yeah.
Yeah, the more,
What's the no
the Occam's razor. The simple answer is, yeah, Mark Halpern's a Republican.
What's interesting, here, and the frustrating thing, among the frustrating things, is like this guy, the first tweet response to him was, Mark, you've been exposed as a pocket reporter. This sink, he says, the sink will last a lifetime. I'm going to guess he meant stink. Always proofread your tweets.
But I have a sink from the 20s. So sometimes they last.
And it's WikiLeaks, somebody made something from WikiLeaks. Journalists outed as Clinton stooges. And in the list includes John Heilman and Mark Halpern. So that's the... Right?
No, and I overheard somebody the other day at a diner saying, oh, Politico, they're left-wing.
I know, that's what's a killer, right?
Right, so makes this battle super hard.
That's exactly right, because what they do is they bring on these guys, and I say Mark Halpern, the simple explanation is that he's a Republican. I don't know which way he votes. I just want to be clear about that. But, there's only two explanations. One is he thinks he's a liberal, but repeats Republican talking points ad nauseum, which makes him a giant sucker and an idiot, right? Or he's just a Republican, and he's like, great, they gave me a forum to spew Republican talking points, right? So, but when it comes to these guys, and what they do on top is they say, oh, by the way, all these guys spewing Republican talking points are actually liberals. Right? Politico's liberal, Mark Halpern's liberal, everybody in the media is liberal. So they take a right-wing position and they pretend that it's the left. So they say, okay, now if you want to be reasonable, even though this is the spectrum and they're all the way over here, you got to go this far out to the right. So that's how you move the Overton window. So you get useful tools like Mark Halpern, no matter whatever is in his empty little head, right? And he spews out right-wing talking points and pretends it's left-wing, and everybody goes, oh, then I guess we got to move further right. And that's the situation we're in.
Let me give you a little update from Florida. Not so much, it's basically tied. But it says 3% reporting, but as we look at these numbers, it's not 3% reporting because the result is, right now, it's 1.83 million for Hillary to 1.80 million for Trump. So she's ahead by about 25,000 votes out of 3.6 million cast.
In Florida.
In Florida. But it's not 3% reporting. Only, like, that's 3.6 million cast. The results in Florida in 2012 were 4.2 million to 4.1 million, like 8.3 million cast. There's expected to be a higher number here, but that was 8.3 million. Like, they're going to be about, at most, 9 million, 9.3 million maybe.
So that's a significant percentage of votes that have been cast.
Yeah, like more than a third, because they're counting early votes. So when they say 3%, that I presume means today, but they are clearly bringing in significant numbers of early votes being cast, and Hillary Clinton with a nominal, almost insignificant 25,000 vote lead out of 3.6 million cast right now.
But it is also possible that that they have, for whatever reason, we thought they would have the early votes in immediately. But if they're only reporting 3%, maybe they're not reporting, they haven't reported the early vote yet.
I think the 3% is the amount of day of to precincts that are people voted today. The early vote is just, these numbers get added.
Okay, so you're saying those are two separate things.
There's some,
They're saying
I think,
of today's vote, 3% are in.
And clearly
but
a lot of early.
3 million votes overall, over 3 million votes overall are in, and the real numbers are she's leading by 25.
Right, and those 3 million are clearly almost all early votes, and I presume we're going to get to maybe 5 or 6 million of early votes in the next half hour.
And by the way, so that's a great point. And so you got to know this for the rest of the night. So when they say percent reporting, it does not, I realize as we were talking it through, does not include early reporting because they don't know which precincts it came from, right? Like, I don't think they're coming in and going, not that they don't know it overall, but like, okay, in Broward we had X amount of early votes, so I'm going to say that the 17% of Broward is reporting.
So you're saying
that's not how it works, right? So the percent reporting is just day of, okay? But that doesn't mean that the vote count you're getting is actually that percentage, because for some of the states, it includes early voting. By the way, we've crossed 60,000 viewers concurrently at the same time. So we're breaking records as we go here. Share-a-thon. Keep sharing. Share on Facebook, share on Twitter, retweet it, share on YouTube, embed the link, send the link by email, do everything you can, get everybody to watch it here. The minute we got news, we're gonna come in with it. Right now, in fact, we have news right now. We've got another state on the board, and it is not good news. West Virginia has gone to Donald Trump. West Virginia has gone to Donald Trump.
There you go. Yeah, West Virginia to Trump. 24-3. I don't know if she can come back.
She is down. He has got 8 times as many electoral college votes as she does.
24-3.
You know, if she comes back from this, it'll be the biggest comeback in American history.
It will. That's right.
No one's ever been down 8 times as many electoral college votes before and come back and won.
Not this early.
Okay. If you're just tuning in, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vermont, and Virginia closed at 7 o'clock Eastern. And just 7 minutes ago, North Carolina, Ohio, and West Virginia closed. The minute there's news on that, we'll give it to you. And Florida, outside of the Panhandle, is closed. So that's why we're reporting that for you. So of those closings so far, the ones that are already on the board, deep red or deep blue, whether it's Kentucky or Vermont, but the ones to look out for, Virginia, North Carolina, Ohio, and Florida. So, like I said, they've all closed with the exception of the Florida Panhandle. So, whoa, Nelly. Let me tell you about the 2016 election. So now we're in the heart of it, and we are going to. And you know what happened? As I was telling you that, I got nervous. I got like a pit into my stomach because we've been joking around all day, and that's partly what we do. And then give you the information and stuff. And those last-minute polls that had swung in Hillary Clinton's direction gave us I don't know about you guys, it gave me a little bit of relief, right? Because I was worried that it was tightening over the weekend, and then the surge did not come for Trump, according to the polling. It came for Hillary Clinton. Now, right now, there isn't anything too much to be worried about. She could lose Florida, by the way, and Ohio, and North Carolina, and still win. And I don't know about comfortably, but win. She could get Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and she doesn't even need Nevada as long as she gets Colorado and Virginia. If we start telling you about Virginia not going well, then okay, get worried. For those who thought it's going to be a landslide, if she loses Florida, it's not going to be a landslide, right? If she wins Florida, then it's over, okay? That means very likely she's won Pennsylvania, and she's going to be over 300 electoral votes. And that doesn't necessarily mean landslide, but it means that's a comfortable win. So that's why these Florida results are super, super important.
Virginia, 10% reporting.
Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. Buckle up.
54-41.
Trump.
Yeah. Just what we,
No.
161,000, 123,000.
No. I'm now actually worried. I'm not kidding. Okay. Because, look, it's 10% reporting. Don't panic, okay? But 54-41, not good news in Virginia, and not a good start. And now, Virginia is a state that is very bifurcated. So you've got the southern regions that are much more red, and you've got northern Virginia, which is now solidly blue. So it 100% depends on where that 10% is coming from. And knowing the demographics of Virginia, it's almost certainly covering from southern Virginia. But still, as we do that, the knot in my stomach got a little worse, okay? So after all this talk of no big deal and we're going to know and we know who it's going to be, if he wins Virginia, batten down the hatches.
Yeah, I think if he wins Virginia, I don't think that we have any sign. We have no reason to panic. It's impossible not to look at numbers that are bad and not worry a little bit. But they, as you said, with your excellent use of the word bifurcated, I don't think we have any reason yet to panic. That said, if Virginia were to go wrong, it's a massive heart attack.
Yeah, so it hasn't gone wrong yet. It's 10% reporting, but I'll tell you, look, it got quiet in here the minute we started reporting these real results.
Yep.
And if that continues, there is going to be a pall in here.
I don't even want. I mean, I think.
Where are you?
I will cry. I will literally cry. I'm not even kidding. Patrick Leahy won Senate seat in Vermont.
Okay.
I
Good.
think we were expecting that.
Okay, good news. We're right back on the board. We're back on the board. Okay, all right. Patrick Leahy could not have been more of a shoo-in.
I know.
Guy who had no chance to lose didn't lose. Okay, fantastic.
Something.
I don't even know if they ran anyone against him, or if they were just like, we're going to run Rumpelstiltskin against Patrick Leahy. I don't know.
Numbers, 100,000 vote lead for Trump in Florida, 2.194 to 2.094, exactly 100,000 votes basically for Trump leading in Florida. And again, that's basically 4.2 million votes cast in Florida. That is about half of the number of votes cast in 2012. We expect the turnout to be a little bit higher, but it's not going to be, it's not going to go from 8 million to 15 million. So we're about halfway done with counting in Florida, getting close to halfway done, and Trump with a 100,000 vote lead. That's a lot of early votes as they continue to have a pretty low number for only 7% of the people who voted today in Florida.
Look, maybe likely this thing turns around and, we'll look back at these 17 minutes or so with shits and giggles, and I remember for a second we were a little worried, right? Mm-hmm. And if that happens, we'll be like, that was funny. We got a little scared. That was funny, right? A little scared. But right now, no, I'm a little. He's leading in Florida. He's leading in Virginia. We're going to take a break in a couple of minutes, and that is going to be a heart-pounding break going into the first break after the results have begun to come in. Not exactly what we anticipated. And again, important context here. So it's not like you look at Georgia and Indiana and Kentucky and get worried. We're not schmucks. Red states were always going to go to Trump. That doesn't bother me 1 second. Of course, of course. And if you had a Trump supporter who was like, oh my God, did you guys hear we lost Vermont? Like they don't know anything about politics. But Virginia and Florida, really, really important. If he wins them both, it's kind of already over. And Trump would be the next president of the United States.
I tweeted Michael, I texted Michael, are they loving early numbers there? Just because I'm sure at Trump
Because Trump is, Michael sure is at Trump headquarters right now.
Michael says, no, it's still pretty quiet because he's in a cab.
He's probably in that cab thinking, I'm winning with these early results.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
And what would
Feeling
he
real
know,
good about
right?
himself.
So we're telling you temper it. It's 10% reporting.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal, right?
I just wanted to
But if Trump sees those, he's like, okay, that's it. That's it. All right, guys, let's measure the drapes, okay? I'm going to put in Trump curtains in the Oval Office, okay?
Made in China.
Making, no, hey, Don, and no, and you know how it is. There's the yes men around him like, yes, Mr. Trump, yes, we should get red curtains, yes. Nobody's going to have the balls to tell him, hey, Schmuck, only 10% are reporting.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the Young Turks panicking. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Anna, we had another story, but we're not going to have time, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, here's the deal. We're going to take the break now, okay? And we will be back fairly quickly. You're not going to miss any results, okay, because we'll be back plenty of time before the next set of poll closings. So just hang in there, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. It is a little heart-pounding right now, at least.
And also, very soon, we will be talking about ballot measures. There's been virtually no coverage of that so far, and it's really, really important.
Today's the day that we basically might legalize marijuana throughout the country. Not in every place, but we could break the camel's back today.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a huge deal. And then there's some other important ballot measures. And then obviously we'll tell you on the close Senate races as well, and congressional races. Okay. Slight panic button. We'll be right back.
Hillary Clinton, who can't even say she's for the XL pipeline even after she's left? Give me a break. Give me a break.
Come on. Give me a break.
Come on, give me a break over there.
Give me a break!
Come on. Give me a break. Come on. Give me a break.
Give me a break. We also must recognize that it's a very complex place. You know, the Chinese are there. I have several sources that I've gotten material from. I'm surprised that my sources are better than theirs.
And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me. He's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2". Have you seen his hands? And you know what they say about men with small hands?
Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee. know what I said. I don't remember.
I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
What have they done in the past? What kind of judgments have they made? What kind of associations do they have? That will tell you a lot more than an interview will tell you. The fruit salad of their life.
And let's dispel once and for all with this fiction that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. Let's dispel with this fiction that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. This notion that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing is just not true.
There it is. There it is, the memorized 25-second speech.
Well, that's
there it is, everybody.
That's it? Thank you. They're kicking me out the door.
Good job. Good job.
Come on, give me a break.
My name is Arthur Aguirre. Got an awesome show for you today. What is this?
Let's go with 1 and 4.
I was initially hired as an associate producer, but kind of morphed into an editor and taking care of graphics for shows. Before I got here, I was just playing music and hanging out with friends. Yeah. Jesus got me into TYT. He's my brother-in-law. He's married to my sister. One summer, I wasn't doing anything, and he was like, oh, do you want to come and help me at the Young Turks? And I was like, okay, sure. I prepare like elements, which is the stills and the videos for the network shows. I do that for Nerd Alert, Think Tank, for the main show, What the Flick. It's awesome because I get to like read the stories and just more information gets to me. I like to be very organized and to make everything look perfect. So I really like doing it. It's very satisfying.
Some picture he shows there, Scarlett Johansson. God, Arthur is a boob man.
I'm in charge of editing all the content for members. The full episode of Old School and full episodes of the main show and the post game. We offer this content to members so they feel that it's worth it, you know. We're developing even more content just for them. Coming soon, you know.
Welcome to All-Star Tuesdays.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Aggressive Progressive.
That's how it's done.
Two things haunt me about the Jacory and Arthur's morning show. Arthur imitating me and Jacory in Nana's shoes.
The Jacory and Arthur show is just like a little skit comedy show. Jacory was inspired by the ending credits of the Community show. They said like, oh, in the morning, something in the morning.
Jacory and Arthur in the morning.
He wanted to do it with me, and I was like, okay, sure. Jacory broke the stove. I think we told him to sit down on it, and we weren't expecting it to like break, but it did break. Poor Dave, yeah. Jacory and Arthur, Jacory and Arthur.
All
right, back on the Young Turks. Look, Johnny Pie is back. Anna's going to get ballot measures for you guys. We've got a lot of poll closings coming up in 5 minutes. Alabama, Connecticut, Delaware, D.C., Florida, Panhandle, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Mississippi, Missouri, New Hampshire, very important, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, very important, Rhode Island, Tennessee, are all coming up in 5 minutes. But now, while we were in the break, Donald Trump's lead in Florida grew to 3%. And we had a little bit of, Wheezy, I'm coming to join you, right? But during the break, that has already changed. So, Ben, what's the latest in Florida?
Well, 17% precincts reporting. But again, that's a vote today, clearly, because we're already at 6.4 million votes counted. And they voted
17% on top of the early voting, which is a giant chunk that is not counted in the percentage.
That's 75% of who voted in 2012. So obviously that's not 17% of the electorate.
Yeah.
So and it looks to me like they'll probably go over what they got last time. But anyway, Hillary Clinton at 3,328,000 to 3,135,000. So 193,000 vote lead.
Which means if I understand percentages, which I don't, that the raw vote number will move more slowly than the percentage counted number moved. Since a larger number is already baked into that.
That's right.
Yeah, I understood that because I'm working on my PhD.
Her number, by the way,
whatever you guys
it's changing dramatically as we go. Like
they do.
Anyway, just dropped, but not much. Down to 167,000. But obviously, votes are coming in. They're clearly counting very rapidly. Early votes are being reported.
John and Ben, you guys are confusing us with all your thing. What is the percentage?
49.8, 2.5 points, 2.4 point lead for Hillary.
She has a 2.4 point lead. Everybody.
Yes.
Don't panic. She's here comes Hillary.
And just an example of what happens probably around the country is that Jill Stein is not registering, or at least is lower than 2, and Gary Johnson's at 2%. In a state that he polled higher than, it just people come to the polls, many people, not everyone at this table, but they go to the polls and think, I got to vote for somebody who might win this, and then that's why the numbers for those third-party candidates go down.
Several states that have a significant percentage in, Gary Johnson is at almost 5.
Is that right?
Yeah, which is significant.
Are they more deep red states?
Well, Indiana, he's at almost 5, and that's a third in. Vermont, he's at 4. New Hampshire, he's at 4. West Virginia 3. So I mean, he's registering on these
Hillary
states.
Clinton with 5% reporting in New Hampshire, I guess. But we have polls closing at 8. I don't know what that's about. But they already have some vote counted in New Hampshire. Maybe there was some early votes there. But she's up 5,000 votes and 16 percentage points in New Hampshire. North Carolina, she 2% reporting. There was a bunch of early votes there. I don't know whether we just don't know whether these are early votes or precinct votes, but probably early votes. She's up by 100,000 votes, 52% to 45% in North Carolina. She's actually taken the lead in Ohio, super early, less than 1%, although some significant numbers, significant in the most limited sense, 250,000 to 200,000, basically. She's ahead in Ohio.
Okay, so if you are on Trump team, right now you're panicking.
Right.
You had the same moment we had about 20 minutes ago where you're like, wait a minute, she's not only up in Florida, but she's up in New Hampshire and Ohio and North Carolina. We didn't do North Carolina, did we?
I did North Carolina, yeah.
How many points?
Ohio's
52, 46. Ohio's crazy early. North Carolina at 52% to 46%. 2% in, but that's clearly, again, like Florida, that's not 2% because that's 1.5 million votes already. That's not 2% in North Carolina.
Yeah. And so also the vote, so look, guys, where the votes come from in the state matters a lot, et cetera. You can't extrapolate too much from any of these. They could easily go up and down, as they already have. But there's real and not real, right? So the amount of votes in Florida is definitely real. In North Carolina, it's real, right? In Ohio, not
it's
real.
Nothing. Yeah.
New Hampshire, I would count as not real.
Exactly. We should understand some states they're full of people, and so stuff comes in steadily, and generally the ratio can stay similar. Some places have one big city or two big cities, and then all of a sudden a huge amount can change. I mean, we know in Florida, the Panhandle closes an hour later, so theoretically, I believe that's more conservative generally.
It's because they're
coming in late.
It's the South. It's super conservative.
Well, it's because the Panhandle is so stupid they forget to turn their clocks back. Am I
But
wrong
we
about
also,
this?
and bear in mind,
No, that's
so
Jimmy. No, you have a little. It's
They were
based
go-
on. It's based on the lines.
So we believe that early voting probably benefited Hillary Clinton, which means that the day of voting might benefit Donald Trump, which means that these results could change near the end. But also, a lot of big cities will leave polling places open, especially because there's such long lines, because we don't
And they're just
care
slow,
about
they're
voting in this
almost
country.
always slower to count. They just
Exactly,
more
and
people.
so that can come out at the end, which
If
is
you
more
look in,
Democratic.
if you dial in on Florida, already now votes counted from the three counties, from West Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade County. Those are the three counties in southeast Florida, from Palm Beach down to Miami, massively for Clinton, as it always is.
Okay, so based on what you guys are saying, three things went through my head. Number one, good news. We did not get any reports of voter intimidation and suppression in Pennsylvania.
Sad day for Roger Stone.
Yeah, so we sent Nomi Konst to Philadelphia to try to figure out if there was any voter intimidation, poll watchers coming to intimidate minority voters in Philadelphia. And she went and talked to the Democrats there. They got her to the places where they have the longest lines, et cetera. So she really did her due diligence there. So far, I've not heard back any wrongdoing. So that's great news. And so we'll, reserve the right to check in with her later, see, et cetera. But for the moment being, that looks good, okay? Second of all, when John pointed out that the Panhandle is more conservative, which we know, but I had forgotten when I got relieved by the Florida vote where that she was up 2.5%, that the Panhandle had not reported in yet.
I also believe it's relatively...
the polls have not closed in the Panhandle yet.
But it's also a smaller portion of the population.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, that's a great point. No, I'm back to panicking.
Okay,
Yeah.
real
Oh,
quick.
no, I mean, 10 minutes, we could be freaking out. I mean, we shouldn't, obviously.
You know that feeling you had,
offense.
Cenk? I have that all day and night.
Either way.
I voted for Jill Stein, so how about a little sympathy over here? I hear these numbers, I'm like, every way, no matter which way.
Regarding North Carolina, which we have Clinton up 100,000 votes, 904,000 to 808,000. Again, it says 2% reporting, but that's 1.7 million votes. And 4.4 million people voted in 2012. And their early turnout numbers were down in North Carolina. Those could happen for a host of reasons, but nonetheless, including that decision they made about opening the polls on the last Sunday before the election, which could have suppressed some turnout, which hopefully will increase turnout today. But again, 1.7 million votes out of 4.4 million, it's a significant number of votes, and she's up 5 points, 51.5 to 44. We've had another declaration of a state here.
Okay, what's on the board, Ben?
Well, Hillary Clinton has scored 21 straight points.
Yes.
And let me make sure I get
That's
these.
7 3-pointers.
She hit 7 straight 3-pointers. And the states now called for Hillary Clinton are the state of Maryland has been called for Hillary Clinton. I'm going to presume that also counts the District of Columbia.
They also won the Senate race.
No, they have not called the District of Columbia yet. They have called Massachusetts and Maryland for Hillary Clinton.
And on that board, New Jersey.
And on that board, is that right?
That's what it
Yeah,
says.
yeah, that's for. And they've also called something new for
Oklahoma for Trump.
Oklahoma for,
I thought we had it. Maybe in 4 more years.
Got to get the board.
4 more.
Got to get the board.
Okay, so Maryland and New Jersey, super comfortable. Hillary Clinton wins. We knew that from day one. Oklahoma, super comfortable win for Donald Trump. None of that is surprising. Swing states are where you got to look for, yes.
Did they have any updates on the ballot initiatives?
Okay.
Thank you, John. I really appreciate
Anna
that.
is here
we
with
could
the-
keep talking about Florida, though, and what we think is going to happen.
Yes.
Don't tempt me.
Actually, we will. But,
Yeah.
okay, hold. Before we go to the ballot measures, can I see 75,000? We're at we're right around almost at 70,000 concurrent viewers between YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So we are triple streaming. It's the first triple stream in world history. Sorry, it just happened, okay? Right here on the Young Turks. And so share, okay? Sharing is caring. That's what my kids tell me. Until, of course, they have to share a toy. And then all of a sudden, not as much. Anyway, share on Facebook, retweet on Twitter, and on YouTube. There's a share button. You'll see you can share across many different platforms, including Facebook and Twitter. You can embed the link. If you got a website, you got a blog, embed it. Send the link as an email to your family and friends. As you can tell already, anybody who's been watching this, no one is more excited about this election than we are. It's a roller coaster ride. There will be either jubilation or absolute despondency. We will go way over 100,000 if Trump wins, because every Trump supporter will turn to the Young Turks to see us bemoaning what has happened to the country, etc. And we will bemoan if that is what in fact happens. By the way, if we get to 100,000 viewers, we're giving away 100 Young Turks baseball caps. These are not a Shop TYT. This is only chance is, and by the way, we're giving to 100 random people who shared. So we're going to look through the sharing files. There's this amazing new thing called a computer that allows you to do that fast. Republicans are going, impossible. How could you look through all those shares in this limited a time period? It's impossible.
How could Microsoft Word check every word in a document in 10 seconds?
Impossible.
Impossible.
Impossible. Okay, but at Shop TYT, we do have an awesome poster about the Dakota Access Pipeline and Standing Rock, and those are limited edition, and they're going today as well. So shoptyt.com on that. Oh, there it is. Defend the Land. And
that's really good.
That's really nice.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
He's talented.
Yeah, he's
very talented.
Who did that?
Absent.
Ali.
Ali did that?
Sorry, Absent.
Yeah, we're not supposed to say who it is.
Oh, Absent.
Okay. It's street artist in LA / art graphic artist. Okay. But he is. He's a well-respected street artist.
He's amazing.
He also did the Bernie So Punk shirts. And Protect the Sacred. So, all right. And membership makes all this possible. There is a second stream where we're giving you extra content for the members as well. And you go to membership by tytnetwork.com/join. tytnetwork.com/join. Become a member. Make this independent media possible. I've lost track. Have we been on air for 7 hours? Yeah, and we've got another 5 to go today at least, okay? And I feel like we're just getting started because the results are coming in. And the minute we start reading results, my juices start pumping. Like, I was, more jubilant, yelling, screaming earlier. And now a nervous Paul has kind of come over me like, I've been saying for a week as the bad polls were coming in, brace for impact. But like as Ben or John read the polls, I'm like literally like bracing, like, okay, let's see what happens next.
Two states that don't matter, D.C. and Delaware.
Clinton, she now has the lead. Here comes Hillary. She's got the lead. Okay, but at the 8 o'clock hour, which we've now passed, a lot of the South is going to come in. This is like the Democratic primary, where the South came in early for Hillary Clinton. Now the shoe's on the other foot. Okay,
Ooh.
And so don't stumble. Now a lot of those southern states will go for Donald Trump. If it's not a swing state, it doesn't mean anything because that's already baked into the calculations. Okay. Yes. All right, Anna, ballot measures. Go.
All right, thanks God. All right, so there's a number of controversial ballot measures that voters will be voting on, and it's interesting because a lot of people don't like the way the Electoral College works, but ballot initiatives, if you research them properly, give you more power to decide how your state is governed, how things will impact you. So just to give you a quick rundown of what's happening throughout the country, marijuana. A number of states are trying to legalize marijuana either for medicinal use or for recreational use. About 82 million residents could have access to legalized pot. Jesus. When it comes to, it's amazing. Minimum wage, that's a ballot initiative in various states as well. 21.6 million residents live in states that could increase the minimum wage. Gun control is also something that a lot of people will be voting on. About 50.5 million residents could be subject to additional gun control regulations. And then finally, taxes. 123.3 million residents could see their taxes change in policies. So let's talk about some of the ballot initiatives that stood out to me the most, okay? So there's one in Florida, which is very deceptively referred to as yes on one for the sun. So it makes it seem as though it's very much in favor of funding solar power in Florida. It's very much in favor of giving residents the option of solar power. But if you look at that chart, you'll see that major utility companies are in favor of it. In fact, they're the ones who are pushing for it, they're funding it, and as a result, it's likely to pass. Now, why is one in Florida a bad ballot measure. Well, the utility-backed ballot initiative would continue to restrict the solar market in Florida by writing into the state constitution, okay, so that's a big deal, that homeowners and businesses cannot use third-party solar leases. The state's restrictive monopoly utility law forbids anyone but the power companies from buying and selling electricity. Landlords cannot sell power from solar panels to tenants. Popular solar leasing programs like those offered by Solar City and Sunrun are outlawed. So in essence, it's written in the ballot as if it gives residents in Florida more of an option for renewable energy, but it does the exact opposite. And it will be written into the state's constitution.
I think that, here's what you need. Here's what real leadership is in the country. I get it that, right, we can't, the Koch brothers and all those companies, all those energy companies are allowed to pour money in to a proposition that they want passed, right? But we can have a law where they don't get to name it. Like there could be an independent commission that decides, no, we decide what we call one, and
or what your group is called.
What your group is called, or how we're going to phrase this, or how it's going to be billed, and that could change everything because it's so easy to deceive people. Because
you know how we do this? We have a proposition. I think we call it the proposition to help regular people vote or something.
Well, we already have something like this in that we have commissions in many states that go over the wording of the proposition because they understand that in the past they've been incredibly intentionally deceitful.
I mean, the notion that you can sell a proposition the same way you sell Diet Orange Crush is nauseating. Like, that's not right.
No, but here's the incredible thing. People who advertise Diet Orange Crush cannot lie in their advertisements.
That's right.
It's the exact opposite when it comes to these propositions or political ads. This is so deceptive. And so there are people out there, and understand what these utility companies are doing and why they're doing it. They understand that renewable energy is in the future because the way that we're running things right now is not sustainable. So they want a monopoly over renewable energy in the future. They want to ensure that they continue to make the money that they're making now, even if we switch over to renewable energy.
So, a really important thing here to point out, real quick, is money in politics. So it gets poured in by ExxonMobil, Koch Industries to try to deceive you. So you think like, hey, what's the effect of money in politics? The effect is they buy ads which tell you the opposite. If they thought they were right, they wouldn't have to play games. They wouldn't have to tell you the opposite. So they know that solar energy is popular, so they pretend they're on the side of polar energy. How do they trick you with all the money put into commercials? And this is the definition of crony capitalism. They're literally trying to outlaw their competition.
Yes.
Remember, the Koch brothers are the ones who claim to be libertarian and say, oh, free market. All we want is a free market. They are monumentally full of crap. So the minute they have an opportunity to rig the system and to kill off their competition by using the government, that is exactly what they do, and that's what they're doing in that ballot measure, and it's deplorable. And so know the reality and don't buy into their hype.
By the way, one in Florida has a 67% chance of passing. That's based on, meta-analysis of various polls. And the reason why is because utility companies have spent a whopping $26 million in order to pass it. And, the opposition to this ballot measure did not raise nearly close to that amount of money.
And what's amazing is that we subsidize these traditional energy companies. Then they get to use a portion of the money we've handed them to destroy up-and-coming industries that could use subsidies.
That's right. It's a vicious cycle of crony capitalism. And so when the Supreme Court says, what, money's just speech. No, it buys you a bigger megaphone. And with their bigger megaphone, they were allowed to pretend that they're on the opposite side of the issue to trick you into voting for something you thought you wanted, but it will do the exact opposite.
So,
it's grotesque.
So can I give you an example of where money in politics didn't work when it came to ballot measures this time around? Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned, there are various states that are trying to legalize marijuana for either recreational use or medicinal use. In Massachusetts, they have a ballot measure to legalize marijuana. And the Catholic Church in the state got involved because they do not want to legalize marijuana. They spent nearly $1 million to defeat that proposal. And as soon as they did that, the polls switched. At first, the majority of people who were polled oppose legalizing marijuana. Catholic Church gets involved. I don't know if it's causation there, but they spend nearly $1 million, and now all of a sudden, pro-marijuana legalization is winning. So we'll see how it works in Massachusetts, but I thought that was hilarious. And by the way, this is one of the few times that the Catholic Church has spent so much money on a ballot measure.
What state was that?
Massachusetts.
So here in California, there's a bishop from San Francisco who's also against the legalization of marijuana. He had a DUI in 2012.
Of course. Okay, John, call.
Yeah, so if you could bring up in the control room graphic 41A, we have a Senate call.
Oh,
this is a fun one. We knew this was going to happen. 41A. Marco Rubio is 41A. Then, Marco Rubio is expected that he will maintain his seat. It was almost certainly going to happen.
Yeah, but there was a you know, as you said, it was like a 13% chance. So you hoped, hey, what if Clinton has a great day? And
Now Patrick Murphy beat the big progressive Ellen Grayson, right? Wasn't that the guy he beat down in Florida?
Yeah.
He beat him pretty good too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And I forget if you may have already called this the ballot initiative in Florida, the marijuana.
Okay,
It's been
hold.
Oh,
There's
no,
a state that's been called. I know it's not surprising, but we want to give you
I put it
all
up
the
already.
calls. South Carolina has been called.
Yeah, let's take a
that's for Donald Trump.
there we go. There's your board. No, that's bullshit. That board.
Okay,
There's a board.
Also, Florida has tightened up significantly.
Yeah, Florida's tightened up significantly. So it's 44-40, Clinton and Trump, and and 6 states for Clinton and 5 there. For
Okay, so let me get to the tight states. So I'm definitely panicking a little bit. There's 2 states that are over 40% reporting, and neither one of them is good right now. Virginia, she's leading in New Hampshire and North Carolina, but that's just 6 and 7% reporting. It's a little bit more complicated than that because of the early voting. But Virginia, there's 40% reporting. Trump's got a 52-43 lead.
Yeah,
now, remember,
122,000 votes.
Yeah, 52-43 lead. That's a big 9-point lead. But remember, Virginia is very split. So if it's Northern Virginia has not come in, it'll make a big, big difference.
And we know that came in last because we were sitting right here in the equivalent of these chairs in 2006 when Jim Webb just closed and closed and closed and closed and passed George Allen.
Yeah, that's when that was his favorite opponent, the one he murdered. No, I'm kidding. But that was an amazing victory for Jim Webb. That was a great night. Now in Florida, with 59% reporting,
oh my God!
And on top of that is the early voting, 49-49.
It's within 4,000 votes out of 8 million.
What were the chances that Florida would be this close? Unprecedented.
What's the percentage? I'm terrible at percentage.
I'm pretty sure that one is
so close, razor thin.
I'm pretty sure that one is precedented. Okay, so here we are again in Florida. So now look, if she wins Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Colorado, she does not need Florida. So I've been emphasizing that in the coverage for the last 3 weeks. I told you the critical states for Hillary Clinton are Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Colorado. And I called the election for her 3 weeks ago because she had a sizable lead in all 3 of those states. One that I thought she could withstand a heavy blow and still win.
Yeah.
She got a heavy blow from James Comey afterwards, and it kind of flipped around at the end there. Will she be able to withstand it? We'd have to see. But the other reason why Florida, you could look at a half empty or half full, is that if she wins Florida, then she's almost certainly going to win the election. She could lose Pennsylvania and still win if she wins Florida. So if you're Hillary Clinton, that 49-49 tie right now in Florida is not so bad.
Yeah. No. And by the way, when we talk about third parties, I mean, we often talk about the influence of like lib third parties on the Democratic Party. But right now, Florida's 4,000 votes off, and Gary Johnson's got 2.1% of the vote, almost 200,000 votes. Those are people who are probably more likely to be conservative. If he had that, he'd be winning fairly comfortably right now.
Could Gary Johnson be the Ralph Nader of the Republican Party in 2016? I said it. I threw it out there. Now it's floating in space. Okay, Anna.
Yes.
The marijuana ballot
Yeah.
measure in Florida?
So let's talk a little bit about Florida. They legalized marijuana for medicinal use. About 70% voted in favor of it.
So that just happened. That's
that
now
just
official.
happened. It's official. People in Florida want their marijuana, but only for medicinal use. Remember, during the midterm elections, they had a ballot measure that would have legalized it completely, and it lost by a tiny, tiny margin.
Who poured the money? Who dumped the money in there? What guy who didn't make
It was
sense?
Sheldon Adelson.
Sheldon Adelson dumped
and
that money.
it actually won the majority of the vote, but they have this weird thing where you had to get a 2/3 vote.
That's right. It had to
A
get
supermajority.
Yeah, it was
this
some
just
crazy.
this just needs the majority, and of course, look, if it's medical and it's dispensed the way it is here,
it's legal.
It's legal.
And,
That's right.
and this is a state that needs it because they have a huge pain medication problem with people
Also,
overdosing.
needs it for-
they could use some weed.
It also needs it because those people every day they live in Florida.
Yeah, that's the best point.
Every day.
That was the
I
best
know.
point made on the show so far.
You know, if you got the
In
Zika,
TYT
you're going to
history.
need a little weed. That's all I'm saying.
So I'm going to go back to an old World War II.
Wait, Donald Trump is up in Florida by, I believe, 18 votes.
Well, then
that's 28 votes, John.
28 votes. I'm bad at math.
Well, then
3,983,244 to 3,983,216.
That's
unbelievable.
That's less than a bus.
And at those 4 million, add Gary Johnson, we're over 4 million votes. There were only over 8 million. They only voted there were 8.4 million last time in 2012. So
we already have more than
they're close to, not quite, but
Yeah.
they're clearly going to blow past.
So we're doing this live coverage here. It's 8:20 p.m. Eastern as this is happening. Florida again on a razor's edge. And if Trump does win it, you should be super glad that legislation passed about pot, because you're going to have to smoke some serious weed tonight. Okay. And, old World War II reference here, smoke them if you got them. And we know here in California, once it becomes legal for medicinal purposes, all of a sudden everybody's got a lot of back pain. Okay, so in effect, now pot legal in Florida, and tonight we might make it legal in California, period, for recreational use, in which case I think we've broken the camel's back. I think pot is going to be legal across the country, and we've passed a tipping point. And this should not be understated. We won. So this is an issue, and I don't want to call it too early for the whole country, and it's still a Schedule I drug federally, which is unbelievable. And because of the results of the 8 ballot measures or 9 ballot measures today about marijuana, most of which are going to win, Barack Obama, before he leaves office, should immediately declare that it is no longer a Schedule I drug.
And keep in mind what the DEA did 4 or 5 months ago, which to me was a massive sign of, okay, we go slow, we're the federal government, but they opened it up for more research, and they were like, and we'll start looking at it.
Yeah.
Well, they left it on
BS,
schedule.
Though. That was BS, because if it's a Schedule I drug, in order to do research on it, it really, really hinders scientific research. Researchers have to go to the federal government and beg them to do the research. And if they say yes, they have to get the weed from one specific place. Oftentimes the federal government says no because it's a Schedule I drug and it's too dangerous and we don't want you to do the research.
Right, but theoretically that rule was to make it easier for them to get it. Well, it struck me as the kind of thing governments do as they begin a slow unwinding, and then the voting of people in 9 states is more powerful than that. So I'm just guessing that I don't know whether Obama will do it, but it's coming.
Yeah, and it's a classic Obama thing. Like Ben's right, that's a good first step. You've got a couple of months left. What are we talking about first step for? And it's such a classic Democratic thing to do too. Oh, the whole country's on our side? I will now slowly move in that direction. Get there already. Get there. Get there. The Republicans unjustly criticized Barack Obama for leading from behind in foreign policy. Actually, on progressive issues like gay marriage and marijuana legalization, that's where Barack Obama actually leads from behind. Look, the whole country's almost there already. For God's sake, you've got a couple of months left. It's not Schedule I. You know it's not Schedule I. Move already. Move. Make the move. Okay, so look, guys. Trump's taking the lead in Florida. It's 61% reporting. It's not just 28 votes anymore. It's a percentage. 49-48 Trump in Florida.
It's 48.6 to 48.4. It's 0.2.
No. It says 49 to 48 then. And when you round up and you round down, that seems larger.
Okay? I got you. It's
You have more accurate and complete information, but I'm in mid-panic, so I have no mood for that.
I got you.
Oh,
It's 14.
75,000.
So, but you know what's funny is that
75,000.
That's 75,000 is how many people are watching right now?
Eric Wallace sent a screenshot. Thank you, Eric.
Okay.
Ohio,
can I see 100,000? Sharing is scary. It's a share-a-thon. Give me a share package. Okay, send it around. We're going to break the record. We're going to go to 100,000 viewers. We're going to beat TV. Go. Okay. Yes, Jimmy.
No, I'm just looking at the result. It's Texas is blue and Ohio is blue.
Texas is below 1%.
Too early.
So.
But Ohio.
Yeah,
Ohio's got
Texas
16%
is all red.
reporting. So let me be clear. Okay, let's give you percentages. Ohio's 16% reporting. Hillary Clinton with a 52-45 lead. Okay, now, I don't want to take anything to the bank. In Ohio, it was polling in Trump's direction, so hold on.
And Ron Portman won.
And did he?
Mm-hmm.
Who won?
Portman won his...
in the Senate. Yeah, well, that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so, on the other hand, if it was reversed and Trump had a 7-point lead with 16% reporting, I'd be panicking. So, so a little bit of good news out of Ohio.
And the great thing about Ohio...
Pennsylvania numbers are in. Oh, it's less than 1% reporting. Thanks, guys.
He's up 239 to 51.
Because on my screen, it's 81% to 17%. I'm like, Wheezy, I'm coming to join you, Wheezy.
It's literally a couple hundred votes.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
And and I hope in Ohio that as with so many states, she's up 100,000 votes. With we're already at 1.7 million in Ohio. Ohio's got the most big cities of any state in the country. They just roll big city after big city, and hopefully those cities will come in for Clinton. There's some Michigan numbers into there crazy early as well, but Clinton up slightly there.
Okay, and of course Ohio's famous Cuyahoga County not in yet. We're all waiting on Cuyahoga County. So that'll happen in this election too. That happens in every single election. Okay, New Hampshire 8% reporting 53-42 Hillary. North Carolina, 9% reporting. 52-46 Hillary.
Yeah, and also, again...
that one has early voting.
It's way more than 9%. They're already over half of what voted in 2000.
So that number in North Carolina is real. It doesn't mean it's going to hold, but it is a real number. Hillary Clinton leading by 6 points in North Carolina. So these are nowhere near a call, but here we go. No.
Oh, God.
Virginia, 51% reporting now over the midpoint, 52-44 Donald Trump.
He's still holding that lead.
He's holding the lead in Virginia.
She's going to win Virginia. I just don't see a way that's possible, especially given some of these other results.
Good thing she picked Tim Kaine then.
Well, we might say that by the end of the night, to be fair.
Wait,
we might.
Who is that?
Yeah.
So as we look at the board here, if
51
you're going to be worried, just to finish the thought on Virginia, if there's any state not to panic over, it is Virginia, because Northern Virginia comes in later. Northern Virginia is heavily Democratic. So that is the one that is most likely to move in favor of Hillary Clinton late. So if that was the same numbers at 54% reporting and Trump with an 8-point lead in Florida, I'd be totally panicked.
Check the numbers in Pennsylvania now. Just read the percentages. Just read them.
81-18.
Hillary
Clinton! She's taking the lead!
She switched it completely. Down 80-17, now up 81-18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't
Here
nobody
comes
warn us?
Hillary!
So literally, they counted like 1,000 votes, and Hillary got all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I saw returns from D.C.
Don't start.
And Trump was at 2.7% in D.C.
Is that right?
Which, by the way, in terms of symbolism, that's perfect.
Yeah. No.
That Hillary Clinton has 95% of the vote in D.C.
I hear he's going to be tremendous with his African Americans.
That's tremendous.
Okay, I think he's going to be tremendous. Okay. Ohio, 19% reporting now. 51-45, 6-point lead for Hillary Clinton. Still holding the lead in Ohio. So, yes, we're going to continue to read a lot of numbers at you guys because these are super important states.
Texas just flipped back blue. Like
Texas back to blue.
Texas back to blue.
How many? What percentage reporting?
49-46 with 1% in. But again, there's no way that's 1%. There's 3.5 million votes. Like, that's not 1%.
No.
There aren't 350 million people in Texas voting.
I wonder why.
It's probably also not going to end blue.
Yeah.
No, of course not. I'm just amusing
They've
us.
got a lot
That
of
is amusing,
immigration, Ben. They might hit 350.
54% reporting in Virginia. Every percentage makes it less likely for the comeback. 8-point lead still for Trump.
I'll
holding
give you
that
the
lead.
I know a lot of people.
37,000 votes for her to catch up with in Virginia.
Electoral College right now, 60-44. Donald Trump has retaken the lead from Hillary Clinton. That part is totally irrelevant.
So he got a 9-stater. Who did they call? Alabama.
Following
we didn't declare Tennessee, but now Alabama has gone.
Tennessee and Alabama have gone to Donald Trump. This is devastating news / irrelevant.
Let me give you some more news. Gary Johnson is now at 3% of the popular vote nationwide. Jill Stein, 0.6%. Doesn't look good if she's going to get that 5%, but maybe a lot of that's going to come from California and the safer states.
Because we already have medicinal marijuana.
Well, California, Oregon, Washington.
Yeah, the safer states haven't come in yet, so let's see.
Jill Stein
Oregon
thought
alone.
it was,
Portland alone will get her to 5% nationally.
I think Jill Stein thought it was 0.5%. She's going to be super bummed out tomorrow.
Sweet Home Alabama is sweet home from Donald Trump. I believe I'm going to Alabama in January, so I'm bringing hell with me. So Alabama, you fucked up, okay?
You're going to Alabama?
Yeah.
What for?
I'm going to Birmingham.
Oh.
And then I might go to Chattanooga, Tennessee.
May I jump in?
Go, Anna.
All right, so we have some results for ballot measures in Massachusetts. So they have voted overwhelmingly to expand charter schools in the state of Massachusetts. 65.1. I'm sorry, to not.
Oh, good. Oh.
Why is she's fucking with us now?
All right, I apologize.
Like
They
the Kurt
voted
Schilling.
no on expanding charter schools in Massachusetts. Also, legalize marijuana. They would legalize and regulate and tax marijuana for recreational use. So now in the state of Massachusetts, marijuana is legal.
Yes!
51.1% said yes. 48.9% said no.
So
Wow, that was close.
I thought it was
Very
medicinal.
close.
This is
Recreational, yeah.
Recreational use, not
Which
medicinal.
means that if
That's
you went
awesome.
to Yukon like I did, you now not only will be driving every week into Massachusetts for liquor, but also to get weed. So
Okay,
that's cool.
and by the way, I'm coming. So for Young Turks on Fusion, I'm going to Massachusetts next Monday. So within a week, I'll be getting high with you guys at Harvard.
Oh, that is amazing. I don't think the law kicks in the
They're
thing.
setting that industry up fast, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, I could also bring my own supply from California. Okay. Anyway, great day for pot. Great day for pot. Great. You know what it is, actually, though? It's a great day for freedom. Okay? Freedom isn't free, but it just got a little freer today. Okay, anyway.
76 to 24% in Pennsylvania.
Okay, Hillary Clinton with the lead. Okay, now, real numbers.
No
Okay.
real numbers there.
Okay, Virginia. Here comes Hillary. 55% reporting. The lead is down from 8 to 7. Here comes Northern Virginia.
She was
Here
down
comes Northern
135,000 when we last spoke. It's 131,000.
Okay, now Florida.
And you're seeing their Johnson and Stein also.
Florida, super real numbers. 68% reporting. 49-48 Trump. Okay, still super tight.
Except by about 100, a little less than 100,000 votes.
Yeah.
64,000 votes.
Okay.
Yep. So leaning red right now, but not a big deal. Okay, now good news is Georgia has not been called yet. Okay, so it's only 34 minutes since it closed, but it's not, and we knew this, it's not an Alabama, South Carolina situation. Some have it as a swing state, so Georgia's not called yet. That's slightly good news. On the other hand, Kansas and Missouri are not called yet, and they're definitely going to go
but
to
they haven't
Trump.
been closed nearly as long.
As Georgia, that's right. Georgia's been closed. Let me just give, sorry, Ben, because that's a great point by you. Georgia's been closed since 7 o'clock Eastern, and it still has not been called, so that's good news.
Tammy Duckworth elected to the United States.
Yeah, there we go. Tammy Duckworth.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
nice.
Got that before?
Some early results from Maine, and I don't know how early this is. It's Trump 2, Clinton nothing.
That's pretty early.
Pretty early in
No,
Maine.
not 2 million, not 2,000, just 2
nothing. Two
my God,
votes
that is
to no
actually-
votes.
Okay,
Yeah.
we got him up in Maine. Okay. Okay, I'm going to give you one more thing here. By the way, right now, you want to talk about early results. Mississippi leaning Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Although,
I
that's early.
have a call.
We have a
I
call.
have a call. Okay, so if you could bring up graphic 43B. I do this mostly for the suspense. It's not going to be hugely surprising to them, but 43B. Todd Young defeating Evan Bayh
Good
in
riddance.
Indiana.
So look, this is a situation where I'm with Jimmy. The famous Hill or High Water debates of these many weeks and maybe even months, where you say the corporatist Democrats are more dangerous. I don't agree when it's against Donald Trump on a national scale. On a senator like Evan Bayh, I agree. Because Evan Bayh comes in and goes, no, it's okay. I'm a liberal, which is totally bullshit. And says, let's cut tax on corporations, let's do the crony capitalism, let's do all the giveaways, let's do the trade deals. And he gives them a veneer of centrism, which they should not have. So it's a Democrat that gives a stamp of approval to almost every Republican position. So fuck Evan Bayh, and I'm super glad he lost.
Yeah.
Good riddance to it.
I'm not sure I'll agree with you if Democrats don't win the Senate, but I hear you. The points are salient, and what irritates me more than Evan Bayh losing a seat that 2 weeks ago, and certainly 2 months ago, thought like a surefire Democratic pickup. It was in the is that I desperately 3 weeks ago wanted to bet on Young. Desperately wanted to try, because I knew maybe the odds were still good, and it just seemed so clear to me that he was going to win.
I mean, so I know that as these Senate returns have been coming in, the chances of the Democrats taking over the Senate have dropped by like 8 points or 9 points or something like that. I mean, the quality of the Supreme Court justices that we can get is dropping before our eyes right now. Like, theoretically, if Hillary Clinton wins, then she'll still get somebody, but there'll probably be more moderate choices or something like that to try to get the crazy Republicans to actually approve them. And then that will have trickle-down effects on Supreme Court verdicts for decades from now.
So,
and we're watching that.
Let me give you a quick update, and then I want to build on what John just said. So North Carolina's tightened a little bit. Hillary Clinton down to a 4-point lead, just 11% reporting though, but
it's not.
But with not just 11%, because it's got early voting in there too. So 51-47 is a real number, and she is up by 4 in North Carolina. So that is definitely good news on that front. By the way, Ohio now 20% reporting, and Hillary Clinton's still leading by 4, 50-46. So that's all good numbers. Now Florida, 69% plus early voting in, and he's still holding on to a 1% lead. Trump is.
He's moved up to 56, about an 81,000 vote lead there in Florida. Pennsylvania is pointless right now. Again, one to watch. We always thought one to watch. New Hampshire, for some, I thought they'd have literally counted it all. It's such a small state. But again, an indication, and we see Hillary Clinton right now up 11 points in New Hampshire. And if that were to hold, and she were to win by 11 points in New Hampshire, I would just feel supremely confident, because this isn't comparing Pakistan to Ecuador. Like, if New Hampshire voters think this way, Pennsylvania is like 350 miles away. Like, they don't live in totally different worlds. So I would feel confident about Pennsylvania. And of course, Donald Trump really needs to win Pennsylvania, needs to pull an upset in a state, in a blue state, Pennsylvania or Michigan, and win and have the run of the swing states that he needs. So New Hampshire, one, would deny Trump those 4 electoral votes and would be a sign of good things to come.
And so,
but
remember,
it's good counting slow.
If you give any credence to my theories and speculation, okay, let's put it this way. Forget what I think. If it's a super close race, it's possible that New Hampshire makes all the difference. So in my map, she loses Florida, which she's now down by 1, but she wins Pennsylvania and Colorado and Virginia. But even so, she needs New Hampshire to put her over the top. But I have her losing Nevada. So she needs either Nevada or New Hampshire to put her over the top. That's why
I feel like it's going to happen.
Okay.
And Trump, because Trump wins New Hampshire, it's great. He still needs Nevada. I mean, it's just the path for Donald Trump is so much harder than the path for Hillary Clinton. But and that's why we're also interested in Florida, not because a loss from Florida is devastating for Clinton, but a loss for Trump in Florida pretty much slams the door.
ABC News is calling the House.
For the Democrats?
No, actually.
Libertarians?
No, it's the Reform Party. The Constitution Party, Reform Party they're gonna form an alliance. No, it's gonna be the Republicans are going to maintain control of the House, which we sort of expected. It was only ever a dream we whispered of for a brief period, and it's not going to happen.
So, that was the brief period when Hillary Clinton was surging to double-digit leads, and that did not last long at all. But here I'm going to quote Michael Schur as the expert. He thinks the Democrats can pick up 14 seats in the House, which would not be enough to flip the House, and we know that that's already gone. It's not just that it's ABC News that called it. We knew that going into the election. Yeah. But still, picking up seats makes a difference. Yeah. And it would be great if we'll update you at the end, obviously, how many seats they picked up.
And if the gap between the Republicans and the Democrats in the House is not that large in this era of bipartisanship on the merits of certain issues, then, some Republicans flip over and sometimes the Democrats win, sometimes the Republicans win.
By the way, we were.
Isn't it crazy? We just expect that obviously in the House, every single vote will be party lines. Doesn't matter what the issue is. No one thinks independent of their party in the House. It's amazing.
Well, they drew the districts that way. Anna mentioned when we were feeling particularly blue, even though we acknowledged that there was really nothing to feel blue about. We were still down. Anna mentioned Patrick Leahy's win in Vermont, and then we all had a good laugh, saying he might have even been unopposed. He had an opponent.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
okay.
Scott Milne defeated by Patrick Leahy. So once again, we earned that one.
Okay, yeah. Milne, take that. All right, let me give you the latest numbers here. Now 70% plus early voting in Florida, still a 1-point lead for Trump. Virginia, still a 7-point lead for Trump with nope. Here comes Northern Virginia. It happened as I was speaking. 5-point lead now, down to a 5-point lead for Trump. In Virginia, was 63% reporting.
117,000. It was like 137, 131. Then it went up to 165, and now dropped to 117.
Can I give us some good news in Florida?
Nope.
Okay, cool. But just I just wanted to scream, "Here comes Fairfax County!" Okay, go ahead.
Well, so I'm obviously trying to figure out what's happening in Florida, and so I'm going down to the county level. And almost all of Miami-Dade is in, like 10% is remaining, where she has a 30-point advantage.
In Miami-Dade?
In Miami-Dade. Mm-hmm. In Broward County, where she has an even larger advantage,
even better, right?
They're only 15% in.
Yeah, Broward has got a ton of votes out.
And Palm Beach, where she's up by 20 points, is only a little bit over half in.
So there's a lot of votes.
And that's probably going to swamp the Bayou. It's going to swamp the swamp, is what I'm basically saying.
A lot of votes coming in for Hillary Clinton.
Drain it.
A lot of votes coming in for Hillary Clinton in Broward County, no question.
That makes me feel so good. Especially Miami-Dade, where, Cenk touched on it earlier, where there is a Cuban population that leans heavily Republican. Yeah. And Donald Trump has been so hideous to Latino voters that I think some of them might have switched their vote for a Democrat.
And in Broward County, which is, as I said, only about 15% in, she has this huge lead of like 40 points. She has over 200,000 more votes than him. So she could gain, theoretically, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of more votes just from that one county.
Okay, now I'm going to go to North Carolina, where Hillary Clinton's lead is down to 3 points, 50 to 47. That's 13% plus early voting, so that's a real number. Her lead beginning to go down a little bit, but still holding, so that's good news. The Ohio lead for Hillary Clinton down to 2 points. So that one is really dwindling, with 22% reporting 49-47 Hillary Clinton. So if I'm looking at this map right now, you told me, hey, Cenk, it's 8:44 Eastern. Here's your map. What do you think of it? If you told me this yesterday, a week ago, etc., I'd look at this map and go, oh, that's not as good as I would want or hope for, but I like this better if I'm Hillary Clinton than if I'm Donald Trump, right? If I'm Donald Trump and I need these states and I'm still losing by 2 in North Carolina, I'm losing by 9 in New Hampshire. New Hampshire's not enough reporting. I'm down by 5 I'm up by 5 in Virginia with Northern Virginia to come. I'm up by 1 in Florida, but I've got Broward and Dade and all those to come. I go, this is not good enough. On the other hand, Hillary Clinton has not put them away yet.
Again, there's no putting away. They're counting.
Agree to disagree.
I'm also looking at Virginia.
Count faster and slash if she. But look, let's put it this way. It's 8:45 now. Right now, it doesn't look like a landslide.
No.
I said it. I said it. How do you count?
No, it's out there.
Oh, also, interesting tweet, a little historical reminder, and then afterward, I would love to hear more about ballot initiatives. In 2012, Obama gained nearly 30,000 votes in Florida after election night. In 2008, he gained over 40,000. So theoretically, if we wanted to have an Al Gore, George W. Bush situation,
Yeah. I mean, what I hope is that we have to Florida. They don't declare Florida for 2 days, and it's a big debate whether Hillary ends up with 323 or 293. You know, and that's what we're.
And Florida is since it's got 29 electoral college votes, it by itself can swing the perception of the election from close to a landslide.
That's right.
Right, because to take it from. Let's call it 30 points, like 280, which by damn, that was kind of a close election, to 310. Oh man, she killed him, right? So that's a big difference. Okay, a couple more updates for you guys. Now TYT updates. We're at about 80,000 viewers. Okay, you're so close to 100,000. So sharing is caring. Share on Facebook, retweet on Twitter, share and embed and send the links on YouTube. Okay. If we get to 100,000, 100 baseball caps to randomly chosen among the people who shared, okay? Will we look at how much you shared and tilt the scales? I don't know. Sometimes elections are rigged. I can't tell. Okay.
By the way, we missed a call.
Oh, call right away. Go.
Rhode Island.
We got Rhode Island on the map. Well, wait. You didn't say Hillary, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, Rhode Island. That made it 60-48.
It actually went for Evan McMullen.
Okay, here comes Hillary. 60-48, closing in on. All right, I think this is a good moment. Anna's going to give us a ballot. Is it real quick? Eric Goldstein and Thomas Grossman are the members of the day. How do you like that? You guys are the members of the day on the day where we have the most amount of people watching. Member number 1309 and 1310. Members make this entire thing happen. Be the independent media. TYTnetwork.com/join. Do it now. Anna, ballot measure.
Okay,
go.
First I have to correct myself because I made a huge mistake and I apologize. So when I mentioned the ballot initiatives in Massachusetts, all the votes aren't in yet. Now, charter schools are very unlikely to get expanded based on the huge lead that the no vote has. It's still like in the high 60s. But all the votes aren't in. Medical marijuana still has a very, very tight lead for legalization. So I just want to put
it's not over.
Yeah, it's not over. I apologize. I'm so sorry I made that mistake.
And is it medical or recreational?
Recreational marijuana in Massachusetts.
Recreational. Okay.
Based on the polling, it's still likely to pass, but I'll give you the final outcome later when more votes are in. Now, with that said, we still have some more results. These are very early results that I think are interesting. Oklahoma is likely to pass a death penalty ballot initiative that basically allows them...
You don't even have to be convicted of a crime.
No. I mean, they would probably like that, right?
Yeah.
But basically, there's this huge brouhaha in Oklahoma about using controversial methods to carry out the executions, right? So there were a bunch of high-profile cases where this one man was injected with the drug, and then he was just suffering for 45 minutes before he finally died of a heart attack. And so this ballot initiative allows the state to continue doing these very questionable executions without having to worry about, legislators looking at the method that they're doing and deciding whether or not it's cruel and unusual punishment. So that's going to pass in Oklahoma based on what we're seeing now. I'm predicting it's going to pass.
Okay. All right, we got to take the break here, guys. So we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes. We'll have the new closings when we come back. Trump still with a 1-point lead in Florida with 74% reporting. Trump with a 5-point lead still with 69% reporting in Virginia. Hillary Clinton's lead down to 2 points in North Carolina and Ohio, 17% plus early voting in North Carolina. Ohio, 25% reporting. So this thing is, right now, it's not over. And every minute that we go forward, so if you told me at 8:49 p.m. it's not yet over, I wouldn't have been happy about that. So it's not like it's bad, but it's not good either.
But there was no way it was going to be over at this
Sure,
point.
They could have called.
No, but they don't call
the last
them
few
like that.
elections have all been between 11 and 11:30, basically.
Yeah, I mean, they don't.
Eastern
not buying
time.
it.
But there's nothing not to buy. It's true.
I just said it. It's out there now. I'm not buying it.
Please buy it. I need to sell it.
Do we have time for one quick fact? Okay. I think this is fascinating based on the joke that I just made before. In Virginia,
you made
currently,
a joke earlier?
Okay, we gotta go.
Okay, Donald Trump is currently up by like 6 points or whatever. Gary Johnson's at 2.9 in Virginia, but in Virginia, Evan McMullin's at 1.3%.
Really?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow,
he's
that's
taken 30,000 votes.
Okay.
That's
That
amazing.
could make a big
In
difference.
Virginia.
Yes.
Okay, guys.
Oh, it's probably CIA employees.
Okay, by the way, we're at 85,000 when you combine the streams. Okay, we're so close. Can we see 100,000? Sharing is caring. We'll be right back on the Young Turks with more results.
I represent the Renters Too Damn High Party. Now, I found this party over 10 years ago because people were playing a silly game. But today is a big day for our movement. I'm here today to address the issue. People can't afford to travel anywhere. They can't afford to go any place on the weekend. They're stuck at home. Why? Because the car rent is too damn high.
Car rent?
Yes, car rental fee.
Jimmy, you're changing this whole thing. It wasn't about car rent.
I'm not changing anything. You're just not
No,
listening.
Jimmy, get out of here.
Are you listening? Hit it. Rent is too damn high. My mustache haircut is too damn fly. I'm on a mission again to give the people my word. Car rental around here is too damn absurd.
Stop it. Now, Jimmy, this is crazy. This is supposed to be a political party. Did you sell out?
That's what you think.
Yeah.
We need 6 cents to change the game. To rent a car place to keep us sane. SIXT now on the scene. Where car rental prices are out of the scene. Cause rent is too damn high. I say the rent is too damn high. I'm Jimmy McMillan. Here's the key. I'm riding with sick. Come and ride with me. The rent is too damn high. I say the rent is too damn high. The rent is too damn high. I say the rent. Any more questions? Not so fast.
God, I love this show. I love this job.
Gets bigger and bigger every year.
We're going to rock the boat. And that's my final judgment.
What does the ideal body look like around the world?
It's Pop Trigger time! Yes!
Hi, Justin.
Welcome to what, the flick?
I finished watching it and I thought, oh, that was nice.
Welcome to Nerd Alert at CES. That gaff and on that gaff is every single gaff.
We want to completely revitalize the Democratic Party and make it a party of the people.
What's happening to millennials, the demographic that's most impacted by this?
Yeah! 1 billion views. We're in the business of digital campfire. We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks.
The wealthiest 1% of the population in this country owns more wealth than the bottom 90%. So if we're going to talk, I guess it's not interesting, Mr. Chairman.
Capitalism is great, but there's so much greed and so much money goes outside of this country that they've become criminals. You know, I've been saying this for 20 years, and he's saying the same exact thing that I've been saying forever, so I'm here to support Bernie Sanders.
Frederick Douglass said it right. Freedom is never given to you. It has to be fought for.
This is the fight for the
the soul of our democracy. And we will not be silenced.
Mr. Speaker, it is incumbent upon us to do everything in our power now that the war has started to prevent unnecessary bloodshed and to support our troops in the most basic way by bringing them home alive and well.
He's the candidate that I've wished for my entire adult life. We deserve to have our tax money pay for things that we need, like better infrastructure, better education, and not wars. Because right now, 61% of our taxpayer money goes towards wars that I don't think our country really wants to be involved in anymore.
Bernie says, dream big, we can have it all. Stop giving the money for perpetual war. It's time we showed America some love. I love Bernie. He's my hero.
The American people hold the President of the United States in contempt. They hold this institution in contempt. They hold the Republican Party in contempt. They hold the Democratic Party in contempt. They think that maybe, given all of the crises facing this country, it's about time that there was some bold leadership here and that this institution made some hard choices. And this is what the choice is about. We are spending $270 billion a year on the military, but we don't have a major enemy.
I used to get gassed when I was a teenager demonstrating against the Vietnam War. Bernie was in all the way. He's been in all the way. I'm in all the way.
The same ones that would put homos in the military, the same ones that would not fund
Mr. Chairman.
Sit down, you socialist.
Now, my ears may have been playing a trick on me, but I thought I heard the gentleman a moment ago say something, quote unquote, about homos in the military. You have insulted thousands.
I'm here for Bernie because he's stood by me since day one when it comes to gay rights.
In America today, we have more people in jail than any other country on earth, including China, an authoritarian communist country with a population 4 times our size. How does that happen?
I work in criminal justice reform. He's the only one who's truly committed to decreasing over criminal.
Back on the Young Turks election coverage, I have 2 things to report. 1, it's panic time. 2, I'm on my 3rd cup of coffee. Now shit gets real. Okay, so here we go. Hillary Clinton's lead in Ohio down to 1, 49-48, 26% reporting. Hillary Clinton's lead in North Carolina down to 1, 49-48 with 22% plus early voting in. New Hampshire is an immovable object. 52-43 for the last 18 hours straight. For God's sake, New Hampshire, count the goddamn votes already. It's only 13% reporting, but she's got a 9-point lead there. Virginia, 5-point lead, 73% reporting. That's for Donald Trump. Florida, Donald Trump, 1-point lead, 74% plus early voting in. That is a hell of a lot of votes in, but let's hope that Johnny Pie's analysis is correct, that the ones that are not in yet, well, it's a fact. Some of the ones that are not in yet are Broward, Dade.
Broward hasn't moved.
The problem when you start talking about the counties that aren't in yet is that you tend to look at only the counties that you like.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, that's specifically what I'm doing.
Yes. That said, in big city, where there are big cities, like where there's dramatic states with dramatic differences that are bifurcated, Cenk. Florida in South, not the only place, but Florida, one of the strongholds for Democrats is Southeast Florida. Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade counties. There's a ton of votes in Broward, not in, and it's not like and many of the rural counties that went for Trump, they've already been counted. In Virginia, where I'm stunned by the lead that Trump has, but he's up 128,000 votes. With 73% in, but she's got 100,000 votes coming in Fairfax County. They're coming.
What did I tell you? I said Fairfax County. I said it, and it was out there. I said Fairfax County.
You said it. There's no question, Cenk. You said it. And a bunch of some votes in, looks to me like about 12,000 votes in Loudoun County. But she's up 56,000 votes in Fairfax County with slightly under half of the precincts. Now, we don't fully know that those precincts are going to double the number. That's if they did double it. That's, by the way, no. So she doesn't have 100,000 votes. She's got 60,000 votes there. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm now worried about Virginia.
Yeah, I'd be worried about Virginia.
No, it's official.
It was an 80% chance.
Yeah.
It's official. We're worried about Virginia. And if she loses Florida, then she needs Virginia. Okay, that's not an insignificant okay? So look, a lot of this is fun and games until you lose the country. So if this is all a lot of drama, but at the end of the day, Hillary Clinton pulls it out, either pulls out Florida, pulls out Pennsylvania and Virginia. Okay, boy, that was a roller coaster ride. That was fun, right? If at the end of the day she doesn't pull it out, Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, the most powerful man on earth for 4 years. That's
immediately indicted and put in jail.
Okay, well, from your mouth to God's ears, but I don't think that's how it's going to work. There will be indictments, and somebody might get like, could you imagine he arrests Hillary Clinton within 6 months of his presidency, taking the office, and puts her in jail?
Be kind of funny.
And no, it would not. No, it would not. Okay. So, anyway, right now, North Carolina down to 1 point. Ohio gone, lead's gone, 48-48. Tied in Ohio with 28% reporting. Look, again, context here. Almost every scenario that we've got, Donald Trump wins Ohio. So if he wins Ohio, it is not unexpected and is not at all necessary for Hillary Clinton's win. If she won Ohio, this thing's gone anyway. She wins
I feel
easy.
the same way about Florida. It's basically the same.
Yeah, but if she loses Ohio and Florida, well, then she better win Virginia. And right now, she's not winning Virginia.
66-48, we've lost Mississippi.
Mississippi's called. Mississippi's called. We have lost Mississippi. Mississippi, we have a problem. You're gone.
You have a problem
Boy,
with
I tell you, you look at Georgia and Hillary Clinton, 23% reporting, and Trump up 328,000 votes, 63-35. They haven't called it yet because they clearly clearly haven't counted a vote in Atlanta. But like it just tells you how many votes are coming in Atlanta. I don't harbor a second of belief that he's going to come back and win that, but nonetheless.
Okay, guys, I'm now super, super nervous. We've now passed 9 o'clock Eastern, and nothing's been called, okay? Nothing of import has been called, nothing but red states and blue states so far. That's right. That is not at all surprising.
Another call.
Oh, here we go. A call.
New York, Clinton.
Donald Trump has lost his home state.
He lost his home state.
He lost his home state.
Yeah.
How can he possibly win? Okay, kidding for like 15 seconds stretches now because I can't bear anything more. Up and down the middle of the country, all red. Have we called all those out yet?
Oh my
no,
God,
we
he
haven't.
built a wall.
Okay,
So let me
he built a wall. North Dakota, gone. South Dakota, gone. Nebraska, gone. Kansas, gone. All called for Donald Trump. I don't have my glasses in.
There are
Wyoming.
15 people
No,
in that stretch.
So
Wyoming, gone.
I don't see New York called yet, but Illinois. has
Illinois.
been called.
Hillary Clinton has won 2 out of her 3 home states.
So they have. There we go. There's New York. New York just got put on the. New York just got put on the board there. But for example, like here at the calculation. Wow, it just dropped 5%. So
Okay,
the
by the
calculation.
way-
Hold on,
yeah,
this is
sure.
serious. So the calculation that the New York Times has had as a running prediction of winning the presidency. Last time I glanced at it, John, I don't know if you've been looking at that win presidency meter below the states, below the map. Well, it was at it was at 80% an hour ago for Clinton.
What is it now?
68%.
Okay, God damn it, I'm nervous. Okay, you should be nervous. This is not kidding around anymore. I'm not kidding. Okay, so hold. Ohio, gone. So it's not gone, but it's now Donald Trump's taking the lead. 28% reporting. It's still 48-48, but Donald Trump now leading in Ohio.
By 1,200 votes.
Okay, yeah, but it's trending towards Trump.
That's true.
Okay, Virginia, God damn it, it's 77% reporting, still a 5-point lead for Trump. Florida, 76 plus early voting, reporting 49-48, holding steady for Trump by 1 point. I feel better about Florida than I do about Virginia because Virginia now 5 points is a big lead with 77% reporting. Obviously, 1% is as small a lead as you can have in Florida, and we got good places coming up, and historically, Democrats do better. as the count goes in Florida, as John made a great point about the number of votes that Barack Obama picked up the day after the election.
I'm willing to say this just so that the Trump supporters can mock me afterward, but it looks like unless inside of these counties there's huge variation in neighborhoods, perhaps. I mean, in Palm Beach, if the second half of Palm Beach is the same as the first half of Palm Beach, she will almost catch up based on that. Not quite. And Broward...
Yeah, should take the lead.
Unless this doesn't include the fact that maybe Broward early voted at 70%.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Which is we just don't know. We're
all right. Pennsylvania not nearly enough in, just 5% in.
The lead in North Carolina has essentially completely evaporated.
It's gone.
It's tied. She's ahead by 6,000 votes.
28%. Look, I'll break down my code for you. Okay, gone means the lead is gone. Gone means the state is gone. So Ohio gone. 49-47, Trump now leading. He's got a 2-point lead with 30% reporting.
You know what?
Texas,
so
Texas is gone.
Texas is gone. Okay.
Damn it, Texas.
So any talk of like, hey, turning purple, blah, 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 bullshit, gone. 9 p.m. Poll closings that just happened about 5 minutes ago. Arizona, Colorado, we need you. Kansas, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota. Michigan is enormous. Nebraska, New Mexico, important. New York, already called. North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, Wisconsin, Wyoming, all those called except Wisconsin. So Wisconsin's still important. Should be a Hillary Clinton win, but it is not absolutely clear yet. If you pull that map back up that we showed you earlier with that big red, wall, it is. It's right in the middle of the country. And it really, as you look at the map, with blue all over the Northeast, red all over the South, and then red in the middle. Obviously, the West is going to come in blue with California, Oregon, and Washington. We live in two different worlds. And so if you live in the middle of Oklahoma or South Dakota, you don't know what the hell is going on out here in L.A., and you think people who are for Hillary Clinton must be nuts. And us folks that live on the coast, yeah, I mean, we look at the Trump guys and put them in a basket of deplorables. And so right now the country is goddamn split, man. It really is. By the way, the lead down in New Hampshire, finally it has moved. Not in a good direction. 50-45, down 5-point lead for Hillary Clinton with 14% reporting in New Hampshire. North Carolina, gone. Donald Trump has officially taken the lead. 30% reporting, 49-49, but Trump with the lead.
What is wrong with this country?
Well, here's an interesting stat that they found out in exit polling today already. National exit poll found that the turnout's going to be about the same as it was in 2012, but here's interesting. Percentage of white voting down slightly. So less whites are going to be voting this year than they were in 2012. And there was a record level of turnout among college-educated voters driven by college-educated white women, a key demographic for Clinton, said. This is from ABC.
Yeah, the exit poll numbers looked good, but, I don't. They're disappointed before, but yes, those are. I read those same things. I also read that turnout, and based on some of the states, like where we can see the turnout's going to be higher, that we had. I think I wrote it down. Where do I have this here for the turnout? 127 million people basically voted in 2012. That was down 3.3% from 2008, and they thought maybe this year. I just read 140,000. So that would be nearly about a 10% increase. That was, I don't know, the exit polling may have disproven that.
Hey, guys.
A fourth of all voters made up their minds in the past month.
Okay, I don't want to alarm you too much, but seats in the upright position, okay? This Virginia numbers, they don't look good, man. They just don't look good. So, by the way, Ohio, the lead grows for Trump, 50-47 now, 3-point lead, 31% reporting. Virginia, 78% reporting, and it's 50-45, still a 5-point lead for Trump. I keep emphasizing Virginia.
That's supposed to be an easy win.
I don't have it in my 6 states. I don't have it in my 6 toss-up states that decide the election. She had a comfortable lead in Virginia.
Yeah, they weren't even really campaigning hard in Virginia. I will say that, Cenk, though you have it at 50-45, it's 4.1 points. It's 49.5 to 45.4. She's reduced the lead to 109,000 votes. So she was 168,000. It's whittling down, but that's a fair amount of votes to go get.
If she loses Virginia, look, I'd have to do the math on it again, and we'll do it here in a sec. But I think she has to win Florida. If she wins Colorado and Nevada and New Hampshire, I don't think it's enough.
Without Virginia.
Without Virginia.
I think that's right.
So here it is. Let me chase. Virginia's 13 points. I had her, even if she flipped Nevada for 6.
258 and New
not
Hampshire 262. No,
it's not enough.
Colorado. Well, no. What about Colorado?
No, Colorado. I have her winning Colorado.
I see. Yeah,
okay, it's not even close to enough. No, if she loses Virginia, she's got to win Florida
or North Carolina. I mean, or something else.
Yeah, or North Carolina. But now North Carolina, yeah, same place. 32% plus early voting in. Trump with a slight lead. It's tied 49-49, but he's got the slight edge there.
13,000 votes.
That's not to even speak of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, because those numbers are not really indicative of anything.
4.1 percentage lead in Virginia has been reduced to 3.8%. That's down to 103,000. So they've begun. Yeah. Counting has begun.
Oh, okay. Thanks God. Virginia down to a 3-point lead, not just a 4-point lead, a 3-point lead for Trump now with 80% reporting.
But the great thing is that I give Cenk the exact number and then you round it the wrong way. So I'm like, I just said 3.8. And you're like, it's 3. I'm like, well, actually, no, it's
you have the more exact numbers.
Yes.
You have the more exact numbers, but I see 3 points here. And
that makes you feel better.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Right.
3 sounds a lot better than 3.8. 3.8 sounds like crap. I'm back to panicking. And by the way, I'm in a bad zone, not a good zone where the baskets seems like it's gigantic, right?
You're in a glass box of emotion.
Sometimes I could barely hear you guys because in my head it's like, she's losing. Virginia needs Florida, right? And God damn it, if we need Florida, are you shitting me? And Florida is razor thin again with 85% plus early voting in. And he's leading them by a little bit now. Are you shitting me? That's where we are right now. So, okay, all those dreams of a landslide, it theoretically could still happen. She could pull out Florida, Virginia, and North Carolina. But right now, ain't no landslide.
So here's the upshots forecast, running forecast, right? The New York Times is what Nate Silver left behind, right? And they had it as 85. They ended, I think, at 84% for Clinton to win. They have it at the president, based on everything we've seen, still 68% Clinton. But that ain't 84%.
No.
That's 68%. The Senate, which we had all hoped to flip, is they have it at, they were all less bullish on the Senate than others. But 77% that the Senate stays in the hands of Republicans. And the House at greater than 95%.
It's Donald Trump.
All right, guys. Look, I'm going to update you on 2 quick things. And so I would read your tweets if we're in better times. I'll get to that later. But so live stream concurrent viewers, we've reached way past the record. Past this record of when we had Bernie Sanders on. We've got... and over the course of the day, this number is going to be much, much larger. When you take in the videos we put up on YouTube and Facebook later, it gets into the tens of millions, right? But for right now, a live stream on the internet is a very hard thing to get to a significant number. We're at over 87,000 now.
Yeah.
So we're at almost 100,000. Keep on sharing. And North Carolina, what's happened? 49. He's taking the lead. I know. And thank you, members, for making this coverage possible and for being with us throughout. TYTnetwork.com/join.
So I got a little bit of good news for you.
Okay. Oh, thank God. I need the good news.
So whereas you still see it as 3, but in Virginia it's actually moved from 3.8 to 2.7. So a 4.
That's a big move.
So round that down to
big
1.
Move.
So let's just call it. Let's call it 4.
No, seriously.
So it's down to. So let me hard numbers.
Shit.
You remember the hard numbers were saying it's down to 77,000 votes now in Virginia.
Okay, but the percentage reporting has not moved very much. It's 82%. That's good news.
Yeah.
So if she had closed to within 2.4, but we're at 98% reporting, you're screwed. At only 82% reporting, and she's closed the lead significantly. Finally, good news out of Virginia.
And bad news out of Colorado. Super early. Well, not super early. 18% in, and Trump with a 3,000 vote lead. They're basically tied in Colorado.
And also, so Florida has updated a little bit. So Broward's still at 16%. Almost everything else is above 90%. Like, that's pretty much all that's left.
They're incompetent. there.
Get your shit together, Florida.
What's Palm Beach?
They're like trying to get to the ballot box and there's a crock.
Yeah, Palm Beach they're counting up Palm Beach, and his lead, actually, her percentage lead is evaporated a little bit. I mean, there's still some left in Dade, but not too many votes left there. But Broward, as John said, Broward is about half, John, right?
So let me give you more context.
Slightly less than half. And if it were to repeat itself, that's 260,000 votes.
For Broward, I'm seeing 16% reporting. What are you saying?
I'm seeing 278 of 577 precincts.
Interesting.
Okay. So that is
half, but that would still be.
That's not good news.
No, but it's 262,000 votes. So it's a lot of.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. More bad news. Ohio. Now he has built a 6-point lead. 37% reporting. 51-45. North Carolina, he's now taking a 1% lead with 36% plus early voting in.
Wow.
New Hampshire, 16% reporting, and the lead is down for Hillary Clinton down to 3 points. Okay, yeah, I don't see a fucking landslide here. I don't see it at all, okay? What I see is a really, really tight race. So he was supposed to win Ohio, and he's sprinting out in front of her, okay? There was a little bit of jockeying for position in the beginning, and just always a caveat. They vote at the same time. We just get the results in at different times, okay? So it's not like there's more votes coming in as we speak.
Momentum is not a real thing here.
Yeah, there's no such thing as momentum here.
We only feel it.
Right. But what is real is the more percentage vote is in, the more solid that result becomes, the more likely that result becomes. So as he's sprinting out ahead in Ohio, well, he was supposed to do that. Okay, fine. But she was supposed to be sprinting out ahead in Virginia, and she is not. She's behind in Virginia. Okay, they were supposed to be relatively tied in Florida, and they're relatively tied in Florida, okay? Again, 88% plus early voting in Florida. So a lot of votes have been counted in Florida, a lot. And so if Ohio had been called for Trump right now, and Virginia had been called for Hillary Clinton, and we had the same kind of tied situation in Florida, I'm not sweating it. And then I go, okay, good, she won Virginia. That means she'll win Pennsylvania, and she doesn't need Florida. But she's not winning Virginia. So it doesn't mean she's not going to. She might. I don't even know what's likely at this point. I mean, Ben, okay, you got a call?
No, I got a, well, yeah, but nonsense ones.
Okay, but.
So keep talking. I'm just putting it up.
No, yeah. So here, I want to go to Virginia in a second, but no, go ahead. Make these calls.
No, we're at 129, 197. The Times has it at 130, but we don't have any specificity on that Omaha district in Nebraska. So right now, we're only giving them the 4 electoral votes in Nebraska. Arkansas also going to Trump. Nothing. So far, no upset has been called yet. So when you see 129 or 130 to 97. Nothing unusual has happened at all. What is unusual is that this incredibly close race in Florida, Trump solidly leads by 1.5 points, and 89% reporting. So we've had a tremendous number of votes counted, and he's up 148,000 votes, 4.4 million to 4.3 million and change on both of them. And of course, Virginia, we were hoping for this close, and we're still kind of waiting for it, although it's certainly closed some, but it's still 78,000 votes with 83% reporting, and we're obviously hoping that they're all in Fairfax County and they'll all go to Clinton. But she was up 6-7 points. I think what was the prediction for the New York Times for the 538 in Virginia? John, do you remember?
In Virginia?
Yeah.
The odds were 80% that she would take Virginia.
So, and again, now
they're not 80% anymore.
I mentioned the upshot. I mentioned the upshots running forecast of the likelihood that Clinton would win the presidency, and they'd had it at 84%. And remember, it was at 68%. Like what? 20 minutes ago, 61%.
Dropping.
61%. Her vote total that they thought she'd win the popular vote by 4 points. Then it dropped 3.8. Now it's fluctuating right around 3%. Now it's down to 60% likelihood that Clinton wins the presidency.
Okay, so I'm bad with technology. Oh, thanks, God. Okay, my internet went down just now, and so I was about to lose my mind. Okay, so luckily your internet has not gone down. By the way, if anything does happen to the stream, because we're now really at record numbers here, you go immediately to our @TheYoungTurks on Twitter to get updates on what's going to happen next with the stream. So far, no problems, thank God. If there are any, at the Young Turks on Twitter, and you'll get messages on what's going to happen.
New Hampshire has been totally tied up, 100% tied
Oh,
up. 64,
Christ.
200 votes for Clinton.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
It's still early.
No, this is bad.
What happened to the big gender gap?
Okay, Mark Thompson's here. Mark Thompson's here. Look, I take a solo shot. You got a solo shot of Mark? Hey, there it is. Hey, Mark.
Hi, guy. But what happened to the big gender gap that we were hearing? The most misogynist, objectionable, loathsome thing comes out of that guy's mouth, and yet women. I'll tell my dad. How does that happen, Jake?
Okay, I never believed in the gender gap. Let me be clear about what that means.
All right, Donald Trump won
Clinton winning
Texas.
about
Whoever
women,
told me Texas
with
is
women?
going blue.
So this is where I think that the press is biased, and so it drives me crazy. So
5 minutes?
Huffington Post would report day in, day out, she's winning big with women, and I'd always
said
think,
5 minutes.
yeah, how about men, right? So there's two fucking genders in the country. I got it. You want to celebrate and make it seem like Hillary Clinton's got a giant lead. And Huffington Post, what happened to your fucking 98.4% chance that she's going to win? Does it look like 98.4% chance? I told you were full of shit. Okay, so, and then what I would report to you guys is, yes, she has a big lead. Mark's right among women. You know what his lead was? I'm going to forget the exact number, but among white males.
No. That's fine. Let it be organic.
Shoot, I totally
Uneducated,
forget.
or
Uneducated,
college educated.
meaning like no college education white males. He had something like a monstrous 44-point lead. How come I didn't see that in the headlines of Huffington Post and the rest of the press? Because the rest of the press thinks Hillary's going to win. Hillary's going to win. Hillary's our friend. She's going to win, right?
That number's not right. I mean, you may have seen it in one poll, but it certainly wasn't true.
It showed
in
it
the
was
polls
like
at the end. I read what his lead was among white men without a college education, and he led it. But so did Mitt Romney by about the same number.
Yeah. All right. Look, let me give you some numbers here. Then we're going to go to New York. New York, we've got a live protest going on in Hillary Clinton headquarters. To give you a sense of how bad it is right now, these poll numbers, not poll numbers, actual results of the election. I told you that. Okay. Okay. So they might actually have to move this protest to Trump headquarters because he might win. Okay. Can we go to New York now? Okay. We're going to New York right now.